Deep in the South, amongst the cotton fields of South Carolina, sits a cornerstone of NASCAR's foundation. Souvenirs of each race are tattooed on these walls. If they could talk, they would tell stories of those who conquered and those who fell short. Hit the high note in Nashville, the rest of the field was left singing the blues. Well, it appears to be a four-man race, but the ones chasing him aren't the names you might think. This year, it's old school versus new guard.
Never have I seen a finish with so many passes in such a short track in such a short time. I can't remember ever seeing the end of a motor race being as exciting as that.
Elliott is practically coasting through 3 and 4. Dale Earnhardt goes around the out-of-fuel Bill Elliott, and Dale Earnhardt is going to win. Oh, my goodness.
Can you believe it? A half a lap, about 3/4 of a mile, and Bill Elliott would have gotten the checkered flag.
Here he goes. Look here. Oh, they make contact. Oh, and they make contact. They go down into the corner side by side, and Jeff Gordon will make a challenge. But Jeff Gordon wins it. Jeff Gordon wins the Winston Million. Side by side. Somebody's got to give. Getting into turn 1. Oh, baby. I'm telling you, Kurt Busch is not going to give up the win. Ricky Craven's not going to give up either. It's going to be a drag race. Wow. They touch. They touch. Craven got him. Craven got him. What a finish.
Darlington is dripping with history. Some of the greatest finishes in NASCAR happened right here. Now, after a 6-year absence, the Camping World Truck Series is back in black. You're watching The Setup, presented by Polaris. Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Voda, and I am standing in one of the most feared places on this racetrack between the ultra-tight turns of 3 and 4. Now, I may be dressed in black, but this is the lady in black, and she earns that nickname every time. In fact, behind me on these walls, there are the Darlington stripes, and those are just from today, practice and qualifying of the trucks. You know, it's been 6 years since the trucks were here, so there is a lot of anticipation. But after what happened last week, there is also a sense of urgency. Now, Nashville is usually a place of tempo. Last week, it was tempers. Here's a look back.
Music City met the Camping World Truck Series for round 2 this season. With prides and points aside, it was all about the guitar in Nashville.
Bodine and Austin Dillon, Toyota and Chevrolet respectively on the front row here this evening. Green flag is in the air.
Wreck on the racetrack. Johanna Long in the 15 involved in this.
Top 09. Man, he was dropping like a stone. There had to be something wrong with that truck.
It was flat, Michael, so Todd really got lucky to get that caution and get here to the pits.
Big crash.
Crash for Mario Goslin in the number 12.
This is going to be a huge break for Todd.
It's like Mario's mad at somebody.
He's looking for somebody.
He's going to tell somebody what he thinks.
With strategy and a strong truck, number 30 continued to run number 1.
Well, we're back like we started. Top 09 started on the pole. But everything else has changed. The whole complexion of this race has changed.
Is anybody close to his timeline? Nope, not even close.
Looks like he's got the preferred line down in the corner, but look at Eichler drive hard into the corner.
Oh, trouble.
I almost had Justin Lofton and Brian Eichler laying in my lap.
This is a statement tonight, man. This is how you go out and grab a championship.
A Sam Bass decorated Gibson guitar goes to the winner, and that tonight will be Todd Bodine winning at Nashville Superspeedway.
Never give up. Great job, boys. Love y'all. Proud just to be part of this team. But just keep doing this. Get us a little guitar.
Bodine's lead is now 174 points. That's the second largest lead with 11 to go. But the guys behind him are hungry. None of the drivers in 2nd through 6th have won a championship before. And those 5 drivers are separated by only 120 points. Ray Dunlap is standing by with one of them.
Krista, I can promise you, Eric Almirola has not given up. And tonight you have a truck that you've used to win 2 races this season. But what did you learn at Dover or Michigan that can help you on this terribly tough track?
Nothing. Nothing. We have, you know, quite a bit different setup from both those racetracks and then to here as well. So just really proud of all the guys on Raceway Pharmaceuticals team here. Our 51 Toyota Tundra is pretty good. I felt really happy with it in race trim. Qualifying, I just got a little bit loose. You know, I think that cost a shot at the pole, but track position is going to be really important tonight. We run so hard and so close to the fence that if you get tight, it's going to be easy to get into it. So our focus is to try and keep the fenders on it for at least the first 3 quarters of the race and then go after it.
Okay, good luck to you tonight. That's Eric Almirola, and Adam is standing by with the guy who was fastest in time trials.
And that would be Timothy Peters. He knows how to get it done at the most magical places. Last fall, you won at your home track, Martinsville. Earlier this year, you won at the track, Daytona. On the pole tonight for the oldest track. How special would this one be at Darlington?
It would be very special. You know, watched a lot of races here, but never actually got to compete on it till tonight. Got to do the tire test in March. Really helped me for today and this weekend. You know, but our Apex Tools family of brands, Toyota Tundra, has been good ever since we rolled off the liftgate. And Jeff Hensley and all the guys on this team do a great job week in and week out. The guys back at the shop, fab shop, suspension room, guys that help us put these trucks together while we're on the road. I mean, it makes my job a lot easier. And you know, it's really cool to hold up that flag and it says Darlington. You know, when we were fortunate enough to sit on the pole at ORP and it said Indianapolis on the bottom, I thought that was very cool. But to come here knowing the history and the people that's won the $1 million here and to see Darlington on the bottom of that, it's real special.
Another special place, another special moment for Timothy Peters. Krista?
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, keep your eye on those two. Peters and Almirola both did the tire test here. They may have an advantage. You know, this track actually has 2 nicknames, the Lady in Black and the track Too Tough to Tame. Well, 2 drivers who come in here anything but tame, Brian Eichler and Justin Lofton, after tangling in Nashville.
There's Lofton in the 7, Brian Eichler on the outside in the 18.
Oh, trouble! That was a knife save by Brian Eichler and Justin Lofton.
This is after the checkered flag flew. You see Lofton letting Eichler know not too happy.
You know, we weren't like we were racing for the win there. We're racing for about 10th, I think. So just uncalled for, you know, these things already having a difficult night, struggling a little bit, no need to tear these trucks up.
I mean, it was hard racing. I don't know if it was necessarily clean. He kind of pinched me down when the 01 didn't move down as far as he should have, and he just kind of kept pinching me. I mean, he's just trying to block, but I'm racing for points.
Well, let's find out from the horse's mouth. We have you and Justin Lofton as both guys we think have a very good chance of winning a race this season, but last week you guys had a rough time on the track. Any of that left over, Brian?
No, I don't think so. You know, just some tempers there at the end of that race. We're here at Darlington, and definitely a whole different animal. We've already got the Darlington stripe on the side of our Tundra, and hopefully that's the last one we have. So we'll stay up there. We qualified 10th tonight, so I think we can keep it up front.
Okay, go get 9 positions. Let's hear from the other side of the story with Adam.
No question, despite getting his 2nd consecutive top 10 when the race wrapped up last week at Nashville, Justin Lofton a little hot under the collar. So have you put all that behind you as we get set to go here tonight?
Yeah, you definitely have to. Coming into Darlington, a track that's already, you know, too tough to tame, and let alone to have grudges and, you know, have people kind of going after you isn't really what you need to be doing here. You know, all the guys on the number 7 Visit Pit Toyota Tundra have been working so hard. There's no reason to, you know, go out and mess something up for them.
Congratulations on a great qualifying run. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Justin Lofton starting 3rd here this evening.
Well, this is not a track where you want to try to rough somebody up, because the Lady in Black will do that for you. Still to come on the setup, the vault has been shut for a while here, but we will crack it open to show you one of the past truck races here at Darlington, and there have been some good ones. Plus, ever wonder what a professional race car driver had as his first set of wheels? We'll ask our drivers. It's our version of Pimp My Ride. And we will sit down with rookie Brett Butler. What? You don't know much about him? Well, you will. More of the setup from Darlington right after this on Speed. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. And brought to you in part by Camping World. Visit Camping World's RV Spa for all of your detailing and refurbishment needs. We are your cleaning professionals. And by Edge, the leader in performance electronics. Earlier today, Austin Dillon cast a line for a good cause. As part of a special partnership with the Outdoor Dream Foundation, Dillon is giving 2 young boys an outdoor experience of fishing and racing. Earlier today, Dillon and his guests, Derek Hanna and Tyler Vickery, went fishing at Ramsey's Pond here at the racetrack. Derek overcame a heart virus while Tyler received a heart transplant 2 years ago. And here's a look at Ramsey's Pond, located at the racetrack. This is where Austin Dillon caught that gigantic, humongous, enormous fish you just saw. Welcome back to Darlington. Austin Dillon has never raced at this track. A handful of our drivers have, whether in Cup or Nationwide. In fact, only 7 in this field have raced in a truck here. But the old lady has gone through some changes, including new pavement. So even the drivers who've raced here before may not have raced on this surface. What's that? You want a little taste of some of that old Darlington truck history? Let's crack open the vault and go back to the year 2002.
Nearly a decade ago, in March of 2002, the NASCAR Truck Series took to the track known as the Lady in Black.
Here we go, 147 laps, 200 miles at Darlington, the track Too Tough To Tame, as Jimmy Howell waves the green flag.
And she proved to be a track to be respected.
Whoa, heavy contact. There is Larry Gunzelman, and the 81 truck that's involved, that is Jonathan Price.
As the drivers laid their black tire rubber on the freshly painted white walls of the Darlington Raceway, one driver stood out above the rest and managed to work his way through the caution-filled event. Ted Musgrave tore down his competition in his #1 Mopar Performance Dodge, taking the lead 5 different times and leading the race for 97 laps. Musgrave would battle back and forth with Robert Presley throughout the race. But with 12 laps remaining, Musgrave would take to the high side to pass Presley and take home the win in Darlington.
And out of turn 4, Ted Musgrave will come across by 4 trucklets and win over Robert Presley.
Well, no doubt there's been some great moments in Darlington history. One of those, a win for this guy in the Nationwide Series. But the big question for you is, how aggressive can you be here tonight with a great points lead? Do you race this to win or to survive?
We race to win. That's what we do every week, and we're not gonna change the way we do things just because we're leading the points. Now, if we get down to the end of the race and we got a truck that is going to finish 4th, well, that's what we're going to do. I'm not trying not to put ourselves in a position to take ourselves out of a good points run. So, you know, it's always in the back of your mind. You have to think about it. You have to be aware of it. But, you know, we're still here to win races and do a good job for our team. These guys work hard every week at Germain Racing. You know, Toyota Tundra and everybody at Toyota does a great job. So that's what we're to do, is win races.
Okay, this guy's got a lot of experience, but nowhere as many laps as Kenny Schrader, and he's with Adam.
Nearly 15,000 laps at this track for Kenny Schrader, and I don't know if you know this or not, but 3 of the 4 winners here have been in their 40s, so experience does mean something. How can you make all of yours pay off tonight?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a help here, but, you know, there's some other guys that have been here for maybe not that many laps, and the kids we got in the truck series right now, there's a lot of them in good trucks, and they're doing a heck of a job. You know, Austin Dillon's watched as many laps here as I've run, if not more. So, you know, it's not going to hurt us none, but we'll just have to see what happens.
4 consecutive top 10s for Schrader in the 2 truck. He'd love to get a win tonight, Krista.
All right, thanks, Adam. 15,000 laps, that's impressive. Well, she bites, she spits, she tears grown men apart. Now, I know the guys upstairs are intrigued after hearing that. The NASCAR institution is Darlington, so let's go to our professors, Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip. And remember, boys, she bites.
Well, sometimes hard. Adam just used the word experience. We just saw from Todd and heard from Todd and Ken Schrader. How big is experience for tonight's race?
I don't think there's any substitute for experience. There's no secret is the fact that Ted Musgrave won here. Bobby Hamilton won twice, and Casey Kane, who was a Cup regular at the time, even though he's a little bit younger, won. But it takes experience at this racetrack. Timothy Peters, I know he's fast. He did the tire test. He has a fast track. He's sitting on the pole, but he hasn't run out there with 35 other trucks around him, Michael. And I'm telling you, it's, you know, this racetrack looks narrow because it is narrow. This racetrack's only about 27 feet wide, and these trucks are about 8 feet wide. Yeah, and
Krista, you're right. She's a biter. She'll get you. And what I love, though, is the experience that Austin Dillon has, Rick. He's never raced here, but like Schrader said, he's watched it his whole life. And I think a kid like him in a fast truck, knowing what to expect by watching all these races, but yet not having the experience of some of the bad times these guys have had here, that might be a key to Austin Dillon winning this race tonight. What he doesn't know might not hurt him tonight.
Maybe he won't get bit as bad as the other drivers tonight, Krista.
Okay, yep, she bites and she spits. Did I mention that? She is a rough one indeed. Well, whether you're a car guy or girl or not, chances are you remember your very first set of wheels. But what happens if you're a guy or girl who makes a living driving one? What did you drive? Well, what was your very first car? That was the question we asked. It's this week's Bumper to Bumper.
My first car was a 1977 Chevrolet pickup truck.
My very first truck that I had legally when I got my driver's license, I got it a year before my driver's license, was a 55 Ford pickup truck, and I still have that truck, so that's pretty cool.
Dodge Charger SRT8, and I was 16 when I got it, and it was really fast. They have like 435 horsepower, and I didn't keep it very long because I realized about 6 months later that a 16-year-old race car driver probably shouldn't have that fast of a car on the road, so I traded it in on a Tahoe pretty quick.
1991 GT Mustang 5.0.
My first car was obtained when I was like 5 years old. My dad bought my mom a 1975 Trans Am, and somehow it got a 78 front clip on it, which is awesome. I call it the cat eyes.
My first car, I had to share a Nissan pickup truck stick shift. That was my wheels to get back and forth to school.
My first car was a 72 four-door hardtop Chevelle. Now what makes that significant, it's a hardtop. It has no post between the doors, so it was a great party car. It had rusted out holes and the springs were all wore out, so it sat real low, and we'd all just pile in that thing and go to the movies or do whatever.
So what were our first cars? Ray had a 73 Caprice Classic. He paid $116 for it and then put in a $400 stereo. Rick actually paid $9 more for his 66 Mustang. Phil turned his 73 Plymouth Satellite into a taxi cab. It had no stereo. Michael had a 72 Ford Gran Torino, a four-door. Adam had the big car, a 78 Pontiac Bonneville. And I had the Vet. Well, it was a Chevette. Very cool indeed. Hey, David Starr is one of the 7 who has raced a truck here before. In fact, he's finished top 10 in each of his 3 Truck Series starts at Darlington, but he's also started in the top 10 in each of those outings. He won't do that tonight. All these fans know this is one of the toughest tracks. They are so excited to have the toughest series back. More of the setup next. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. And brought to you in part by Damp Rid, because the key to mold control is moisture control. Control them both with Damp Rid. Who was rocking and rolling in Music City last week? Time to give a thumbs up to some of our drivers. Ron Hornaday had won at Nashville before, but not this time. But a top 10 was a welcome change after finishing 29th the week before. Ryan Eichler made his 5th start of the year and scored his 4th top 10. Very impressive. Mike Skinner is trying to inch his way back up in the points. In 11th is good. It kept him 8th in the standings. And Donnie Leah loves Nashville. At least he does after turning in a season-best 12th place finish. Darlington Raceway has been around for over a half a century. If it's happened in NASCAR, this place has seen it. Welcome back to the setup presented by Polaris. We're getting the track ready. You hear the jet dryers coming up behind me, so we will soon be racing. You know, as tough as this track is, it's even tougher if you've never been here before. That's the case for several of our drivers, including rookie Brett Butler. So how did a high school wrestler from Georgia end up in racing? His story is beyond the stripe.
When I was about 15 years old, one of our friends, he raced go-karts, and he was saying, you know, you need to get to the track and come look at us. I race his go-karts. So we went and we looked, and next week we ended up buying 2 go-karts, a trailer, and did that for a few years and just moved our way up. Me and my brother are pretty competitive. First race ever in the go-karts. I didn't really care about the other 15, 20 other karts there. I just really wanted to beat Ken. So my first race, I ended up wrecking him and spun him out, and I beat him, but my dad wasn't too happy with that. Just kind of getting over the learning curve that we were on the same team, and it didn't really matter if we beat each other, just as long as we both did good. I love racing the trucks. You know, it's been a pretty good transformation. The guys around here, you can't beat the competition. I mean, they're really stout competition, but they're really, really great guys. I learned a lot. I've never really blown a tire, never ran out of gas, never had our power steering going out, and we got to experience all that. It's kind of get to know how everything feels, and for the future. So we can tell what's going on. Like at Martinsville, we ran out of gas, thought I blew a motor. So we learned just rookie mistakes like that. Our goal is to win Rookie of the Year, but it's not going the way we planned for it to go right now. They take the first 12 races, so we still have a shot. Just really trying to learn as much as we can for next year, and just use this as a good stepping block.
You heard Butler talk about things he got out of his system this year. Well, there you see his Darlington stripe. He actually got that during qualifying right here in turns 3 and 4. Well, Butler is a rookie. Even veterans fear this place. Matt Crafton said when asked about Darlington, "I can't wait to get it behind us. It might not be in the same league as Daytona or Talladega, but it's close." Speaking of close, we're close to racing. We will be even closer when we return. You are watching the setup. Trucks back at Darlington for the first time in 6 years. You'll see them race next. The Cup Series, along with race day on your plate for tomorrow. Big race in Michigan. We'll wrap it all up on the Speed Report Sunday night. Well, the lady is getting restless. She has been waiting 6 years to meet up once again with the trucks. Now she and these drivers get their chance to dance. It happens right now on Speed.
She's NASCAR's oldest speedway. Born on cotton and peanut fields in the heart of the South.
The chips are down. The stakes are high. Flipping a wheel around the high bank asphalt track at Darlington, South Carolina.
Some have had success.
It was definitely right there.
There's the checker for David Pearson.
This is the neatest win, I believe, of all of them.
Hey, we always talked about winning the Darlington race. And
others have not.
The toughest public proving ground in America.
That's a tough one.
The chain of events that can lead to disaster confronts every driver hurtling into the corner.
Earning your stripes from her is a rite of passage.
Fop will just wag the tail out to the wall, just got a Darlington stripe.
The standard deal here at Darlington.
It's called the Darlington stripe.
She's the lady in black, Darlington Raceway.
The only thing you can't measure is the bravery of the drivers.
No funner place to race a truck than here at Darlington.
And the Camping World Truck Series visits her tonight.
Darling is a good name for
Come on, Darling.
Legendary track like Darlington.
Will she play nice?
Welcome to Darlington, South Carolina, and the lady in black. And welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Too Tough to Tame 200 on Speed. Well, after a 6-year hiatus, the trucks are back at Darlington Raceway, and the 4 previous races here were all won by a driver behind the wheel of a Dodge. Well, the top 10 starting positions are all held by Toyota or Chevy drivers. The guy starting 11th is Jason White, and he's in a Dodge, so he'll have to try to keep that streak alive for the Rams. Now, more that you'll need to know about today's race. We go trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. I've been keeping my eye on Thor Sport Racing. Lately, they've been very hot. Matt Crafton has actually posted 5 consecutive top 10s, and his teammate Johnny Sauter has done very well lately, too, with a win this season and 6 top 5s. But Crafton will roll off 15th tonight, and just ahead of him, his teammate Johnny Sauter rolls off 13th. These two guys know that track position is going to be a big factor tonight at Darlington, so watch for them to work together and watch for pit strategy to play into getting to the front. Adam?
When you talk about the Camping World Truck Series, you have to mention Ron Hornaday. 46 career wins, and 4 times he's won the series championship. But never has driver 33 turned a lap at historic Darlington Raceway in the Camping World Truck Series. It's been a tough season for Ron. A win tonight would help put all the bad history right behind him. He's getting set to climb in his truck because we're just about ready to go racing at Darlington. Trackside now for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the PD Area Council Boy Scouts presents our nation's colors. And please remain standing as Pastor Ken Sandiford of First Baptist Church in Darlington offers tonight's invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this wonderful day, and we pray now that as these crews and these drivers compete for the win tonight, Lord, that you would watch over them, and these fine fans that have come to just celebrate this time as well, just keep them safe. And Lord, we pray for those service personnel that serve us each day here in our country and in the othermost parts of the world, and their families as they sacrifice to serve us, to give us this freedom. And we pray now that we will be willing to accept those blessings that you have for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
And here to perform our national anthem, the lead singer of Speed's Fast Track to Fame champion Midway Blue, please welcome Warren Stone.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Fans have been waiting for 6 years to see the tough trucks try to come back and tame the track Too Tough to Tame. We'll see who can get away with a win from Darlington. Thanks. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World's RV Spa for all your detailing and refurbishment needs. We are your cleaning professionals. By Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms. And by Toyota. Welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina. And the Lady in Black. And now we go to our Lady in Black for the Polaris resetup. Krista?
Thanks, Rick. A lot of storylines. For one, a relatively young guy, Timothy Peters, is on the pole with a rookie, Justin Lofton, alongside. This track does not usually reward youth. Maybe these two have her number. Some other storylines to keep an eye on. Cowboy Kevin Starlin, crew chief, is here. The 15 truck is not. The Billy Baloo team will be back in 2 weeks for Chicago. In the meantime, Cowboy has been loaned out to the 50 of TJ Bell. Germain Racing announced that they will put full-time teams together next year for Max Pappas and Miguel Paludo. Both drivers will do a handful of races still this season. Paludo, a Porsche GT3 champ from Brazil, will be in Bristol next week. One phrase you're going to hear a lot tonight, self-discipline. You need a lot of it to survive this track. You know, some tracks are referred to as a thing or an it. This is a she. And boys, she's a saucy little thing.
Well, we have a lot of discipline up here, so we're in good shape today. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you once again. Now, Phil, we watched qualifying earlier today, and a lot of guys broke the track record. What do you think we're going to see tonight with this race?
Well, that's because of this new service. This racetrack was paved since the trucks have been here. They ran about 3 miles an hour faster for the track record. 20 laps into this race, they're going to be running 20 miles an hour average than what they did on the old surface because of the abrasiveness. The old surface, it's not there. This is fast laps, lap after lap.
Yeah, 17 guys broke the track record, so we know the speeds in this track. And when you go fast, you run out of room sooner. I mean, the groove is maybe a couple of truck lengths wide, and these guys will be pushing for all they can get, and sometimes you run into things when you do that.
Well, we've waited long enough. It's been 6 years since we've run the trucks here. Let's get the engines fired. We go for the command.
He's celebrating 61 years of service here at Darlington Raceway. Please welcome Mr. Darlington, Harold King, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Fire it up. Crank it up.
All right, light it up. Jason, you got a copy?
An incredible amount of history from Darlington Raceway. They started racing back here in 1950. So a lot of history. Will history be made tonight? Can someone other than the Dodge driver win? We'll have to stick around. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway and the Too Tough to Tame 200 for the Camping World Truck Series. It's ending up being a pretty nice night. 79 degrees, mostly cloudy, but the dark clouds have moved off away from the racetrack, so it looks like a pretty good forecast for tonight's race. Our starting grid's going to roll across the bottom of the screen. Timothy Peters out in front, and he will bring the field to the green flag tonight. It will be the third time that he has done that in his career. Now, 7 of the 14 races this season have been won from the first starting position. We want to take a look at our ZMAX track description.
It's hard to explain this racetrack, Michael, with that graphic there. You see the corners down in 1 and 2, wide open with these trucks banked 25 degrees. Not out of the throttle much down in 3 and 4. Much sharper 3 and 4, though, because of the pond out back.
Now, when you read it, it looks okay, right?
Doesn't look intimidating at all.
You would never know what a mess this place is when you hop behind the wheel of a truck and mat the gas. But this place is very tight, very fast. There's a lot of grip. And I think that's the key to tonight's race. How long these guys are going to run wide open through 1 and 2. How long can they do that? And can they keep it out of that outside wall?
Here's our Royal Purple race analysis for the 36 trucks that will be starting. That first, just over $400,000 tonight.
See, 147 laps, just over 200 miles. Our pit window is somewhere around 65 to 70 laps. Before at Darlington, on the old surface, you would want to pit every 5 laps for tires to be good. These tires won't last this long. Should be a great, interesting strategy for these guys.
And here's a racetrack where we've got a field of 36 drivers, and not one of them have been to victory lane. So we're going to shine our speed spotlight on a few drivers we think may get their first wins. We'll start with Ray.
Well, Rick, I would certainly put Brian Eichler on that list, no doubt about it. He's run great this season. 4 top 10s in 5 races, driving for Kyle Busch. But he got a Darlington stripe earlier today, beat up the right side of that truck. He came in and was down about it a little bit. But Rick Wren, the team manager, said it's not a question about if you'll get a Darlington stripe. It's about how many. And I'm telling you, he may hit the wall again tonight, but he's got a truck good enough to get to the front. Keep your eye on truck 18. Adam?
There's not a person in the Camping World Truck Series garage that wouldn't like to see Jason White go to victory lane. He's been so close so many times. He starts 11th tonight and enters this race 11th in the championship standings. That despite the fact he had a 28th place run last week at Nashville after losing an engine. Jason White hopes to get it all going in the right direction here tonight. Phil?
Adam, my guy I think that potentially could get win number 1 here is James Busher. James is the youngest winner in the history of the ARCA Racing Series at the age of 16. He started 12 of the 15 races this season, and his worst finish was 16th. He had a runner-up finish at Dover and will start in the top 3 for the 6th time this year. He starts the Wolfpack Rental Chevy on the outside, Michael, of the front row.
You know, and I couldn't agree with you guys anymore. All those are great candidates to get that first win. But let's look at Justin Lofton. That's who I think the next winner will be in this series. He's 24 years old from Westmoreland, California. He won the ARCA Series Championship in 2009, winning 7 races and 41 starts in his ARCA career. So this kid is fast. He likes this racetrack. He could be the next first-time winner in the Truck Series.
Guys, a developing story with the number 2 truck of Kenny Schrader. Adam, what's going on?
Well, Rick, the truck would not fire when he got set to roll off a pit road. That's disappointing because Kenny had qualified in the 6th position earlier today. So here is what they have done. They pushed him down the pit lane into his pit stall, and they have changed the battery. The truck is fired, and he is pulled away. That's the good news. The bad news is what they did, deemed a pit stop by NASCAR prior to the green. That means he will have to drop to the tail at the start. We know how important track position is here. Kenny Schrader has none of it as we get set to go green here this evening.
Well, if there's any driver here, Michael, that can overcome this poor starting position, it's Kenny Schrader with the most experience of anybody here on this racetrack.
Do you have to get creative with pit stops now?
I don't think so, Rick. You know, I think he's got a good enough truck where he can just race his way methodically through the field, put himself in a position to get up in the top 10 when it comes time to pit. So I believe he can just stick right to his strategy. He probably doesn't mind as much starting in the back, like you said, Phil, as a lot of guys would, because he's just saying, that's part of it. We'll start back here and clip our way through. Old guys have this sense of not having urgency. Yeah, he's calm, no urgency early in the going. You know, they're not going to pay any money till the end.
And as they cross the stripe, we are 1 lap away from going green. And before that green flag flies, let's go to Ray Dunlap for his thoughts before green.
Well, thank you, Rick. You guys talked a lot about experience, and I want to add Todd Bodine to an experience list. When you look at his numbers at Darlington, pretty impressive. A win in the Nationwide Series, and how about 6,665 laps run at this racetrack? But the big number, I guess, is 0 laps led so far in the trucks. I think that'll change tonight. Truck number 30 to the front in just a while. Adam?
And Ray fans at home may ask, why do Phil and Michael have so much confidence in Ken Schrader driving from the back to the front here tonight? In one word, it's experience. He has 43 career starts here in the Sprint Cup Series. 3 times he started a truck here, each one of them resulting in a top 10 finish. Driver number 2 has turned nearly 15,000 laps at this facility. He is confident despite the little miscue prior to the start in tonight's race. I too believe he can get to the front. It's time now to sit back and watch him make the run. Rick?
Well, he's got 147 laps to work his way methodically to the front. We'll see how long it takes him. He's got a very good truck. It was good in practice and qualifying. Now we'll see how he does when the green flag flies.
Remember, these guys had a couple practices today and qualifying. Very few trucks ever ran side by side, ran together. They're going to get down to turn number 1. They're going to expect to run through there wide open, and they're going to have a bunch of their friends right around them.
Yeah, if someone said you're going to run side by side in practice, they'd say, what? I'm not running side by side in practice, but that's what they're getting ready to do now.
Timothy Peters, your pole winner, comes to the stripe. The green flag goes in the air. We're underway from Darlington, South Carolina.
Mike Skinner got in the back of Brian Eichler there on the start. I don't know if it's going to cause Skinner any problems with his radiator or his cooling in that truck. He's definitely made some contact.
A great shot of coming out of turn number 2 if anybody does get into that wall.
Eric Almirola on the inside of Ron Hornaday. It's a battle for the 4th position.
Leading the first lap is going to be Timothy Peters. In the number 17, Justin Lofton moves up to the 2nd spot. James Busher, Ron Hornaday, Eric Almirola are your top 5.
I'm a little amazed we got through turn 1 without any contact, significant contact.
Well, these guys have circled this race on their calendar. Everybody wants to race at Darlington. A trophy from Darlington is one of the prized possessions you'll get as a NASCAR driver. So they've been thinking a lot about this race. They didn't want to throw it away on the first lap. I think they showed a little bit of patience there. And we talk about Darlington being a track that you race the track. You don't worry about the other competitors. And that means you better just be conservative early in the going so you're around at the end.
Out in front, Timothy Peters. Justin Lofton running 2nd. It is James Busher in 3rd. We talked about experience paying off here. How about, well, that lack of experience up front?
I was just thinking the exact same thing. Timothy Peters never been here before. You have Justin Lofton, has probably never even seen this racetrack before. And James Busher, he actually does have some experience. Ran the nationwide race here earlier this year.
But that guy right there at the bottom of the screen, Todd Bodine, making a move on Eric Almirola for that 5th spot. You guys we're going to watch him, right? He's a guy we think does have the experience and can get up front and have a chance to win this.
Oh, problems in turn number 1. We've got 3 trucks around.
Dennis Setzer's around. Mario Goslin, the yellow truck, is just taking off now.
Kenny Schrader came in there late, got her slowed down, made his way through that mess. So he'll pick up another couple spots. He had already raced his way up, guys, to the 23rd spot after starting last.
We ran 3 laps before we had any contact or significant contact.
Mike Skinner in the number 5 may have been involved in this one.
Michael talked about him running into the back of Brian Eichler at the very start, but I did see a little smoke out of Skinner's truck.
He was just
starting to smoke a bit. Is that engine smoke? If that is, it could be from that grill getting messed up on the start. Maybe overheated that thing a little bit. We'll have to see, but he's definitely got some issues.
He needs to take this opportunity to bring that truck to pit road, see if he can cool it off.
Take another look at this. We'll get to it here a little bit late, but you'll see the 3 trucks that are involved.
I don't see much damage on the front of.
There is definitely some damage right above the front bumper. Here's a late. See Mario Goslin, the yellow number 12. There's Dennis Setzer.
Look sneaking around here on the inside. Schrader's got her all slowed down. Jennifer Jo Cobb goes to the bottom and makes her way around. I can't.
There was some contact as they went in turn number 1 with somebody.
It started real early. They were almost up on the straightaway still, I believe.
Right along with Mike Skinner here.
There's Johnny Sauter on the inside.
There it is.
Yep.
Somebody gets into Dennis Setzer and just spins him around. The black truck spun Setzer around. Looks like Mario Goslin, some of those other trucks decided to needed to make some evasive moves to get around and wound up losing their truck. Skinner's coming to pit road.
Mario also, and we see Ken Schrader also in the number 2 is making his way onto pit road. There's Ken. We go down to Adam Alexander.
And no big surprise here. Schrader, as Michael pointed out, had worked his way up to 23rd in the running order, but pit strategy being what it is for them tonight because of the lack of track position means you take every opportunity to get on pit road and get out of sequence. That's what they will do here. No tires. They will top off the fuel tank and a track bar adjustment to help Ken handle better through the corners.
You remember on the start of the race, I said there was some contact with Skinner. He ran in the back of Eichler's truck. There was some checking up. You see Skinner in the back there in the black truck. Boom! He drove up underneath the back of Brian Eichler's Toyota with his Toyota. So you wonder, Phil, if that didn't cause some damage to the grill and maybe overheated that thing that quick.
Yeah. See, everybody had gone, and then they checked up. He ran in the back of Eichler. There was definitely some damage to the front of that truck, and then he kept running on the racetrack. They went under the hood. They looked, and they're going to send him back to the racetrack. Now, he has not lost a lap.
Try to keep him on that lead lap. 32 on the lead lap is up to this point. Great crowd on hand here in Darlington, South Carolina for the Too Tough to Tame 200. Still under our first caution here at the Too Tough to Tame 200 from Darlington Raceway. And we get an update on the 5 of Mike Skinner from Ray.
He had that contact on the initial start of the race, guys, and apparently what has happened, it actually took the oil cooler up in the front and jammed it back against the steering box. Now, they think there was a line loose there. Skinner came in and pitted. They tightened that line up. They're hoping that that's going to be all the problem. The hood was back down. He's back to the racetrack, and we're ready to go back to green here at Darlington on lap 7.
And the green flag back in the air. Timothy Peters, Justin Lofton, 1 and 2 at the stripe. Again, a good start for Timothy Peters. Let's see if he can clear Lofton going into turn 1.
I don't know if you call that clearing. He cleared himself. Lofton had a pretty good run into that corner, and Timothy just moved up a little bit and took the line away from Justin. But that's how you got to do it here at Darlington.
And that was his teammate, so he kind of hoped he would get a little bit of a space there.
Uh-oh. Looked like Austin Dillon almost got in the back of Stacy Compton. Jason White was down on the inside trying to make the move, and Austin decided he needed to get in the corner a little bit deeper to hold off Jason, but the only problem was Stacy was there.
Matt Crafton took a look to the inside of
trouble. And around goes Jason White. Can he keep it pointed the right direction? He stays in the gas. Now he's down on the apron.
He actually forced the three of Austin Dillon into the outside wall. They were racing together. They made some contact when they got down in the corner. Jason turned around, but Austin did make some contact with the outside wall.
So Jason White almost goes
Come
around,
in right
but
away or
saves
go
it.
around. If you didn't blow no tires, you need to go around. Go around if you didn't blow anything.
Take another look at what happened.
Watch as they get down in the corner there. There's the contact right there. That part of the racetrack automatically sends you up to the outside wall. And Jason was going to take that outside line, and Austin was there, and they made just a little bit of contact. Jason tried his best to stay off of Austin. But watch Austin now. Watch him get sideways and get up in the outside wall.
Yeah, that's pretty good contact. But, you know, that's a Darlington stripe. You'll see other guys have that same amount of contact. He could still win the race with a truck that hit the wall that hard. So,
right along with Ricky Carmichael.
Watch what Ricky sees, man. These guys go everywhere. He sees an exit path there around the outside of Johnny Sauter, and he knew he needed to get on the gas and clear that mess.
This is Jason White on board. Take a ride here at Darlington.
We normally talk about this corner being single file through here.
Listen to him work the gas, Bill.
He did a nice job not letting that truck get up into traffic.
I've got to commend our camera operator too. He was able to keep the camera pointed the right direction even when the truck wasn't. Truck going sideways and we were still headed forward. So you see the three of Austin Dillon. He's also going to come onto pit road to check to see if there is any extensive damage to that truck.
And it's early in the going. It's going to get him off his strategy they had planned, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. They can check that thing out, get some tires on it. Adam, what are they saying?
Well, you'll like what his crew chief just said, Danny Stockman. On the radio, he commented, that's exactly what I'm talking about, people being stupid early in the race. Obviously, he is feeling some of that Darlington frustration. They knew there was damage on the right side. They were running back around the 10th position, so they felt like this was as good a time as any to come down, get it checked out, and go ahead and get out of sequence with those drivers in front of them. This pit stop will come at lap 10. You can see extensive work being done to that right fender. The plan is to change 4 tires and then send Austin Dillon on his way. The other driver involved, Jason White, has already been to pit road to get 4 tires on his Dodge. Ray?
And down on my end, they're working on the front end of Mike Skinner's truck. They put some bear bond on the front, and Skinner said not only did he have that other problem, but he felt like the steering had been knocked out of line a little bit. As he rolls through the corner, he says the truck wants to automatically turn to the left, so he's got to hold a hand and keep the steering wheel going to the right.
And so a few making their way on to pit road to take a look at their trucks before we get restarted. We'll slip away. And the field working their way through turns 3 and 4. We're about to go back to green flag racing from Darlington Raceway in the Too Tough to Tame 200 for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
You know, we're only 11 laps in, and 3 guys I thought could win the race have already gone to pit road in the back of the pack. The 2, the 3, and the 5 of Mike Skinner. So
green flag back in the air. Let's see if Timothy Peters, he has a great restart.
He's bringing Ron Hornaday along with him too. Ron will grab second spot away from Justin Lofton. Eric Amarola down on the inside trying to get 4th away.
Some of that experience is working its way towards the front. And Ron Hornaday.
A little side-by-side action. Eric Almirola on the inside. Brian Eichler on the outside.
Man, that's so tough to do what Amarola's doing right there, squeezing down on the bottom of the racetrack, but he was able to stay off that truck to his outside.
You saw Brian give him some room, though. Brian went way wide to give him some room down there.
This is the guy I think we got to watch tonight. He was dominant last week in Nashville, and now looks like to me, Phil, he has the same type of truck here.
Yeah, Ty Bodine you're talking about with that Germain Toyota.
There's Stacy Compton just in front of Johnny Sauter.
Both of these guys with some experience here. Not necessarily in trucks, but in other forms, nationwide and Cup Series.
We saw Stacy Compton looking pretty good in practice earlier today.
Really did. Had a great qualifying run. Qualified up in a 7th position. How about TJ Bell? I was watching him on the restart. They got ready to restart. TJ was up in a 9th spot already. Started back in the 17th position, running right there in front of the 81 of David Starr. Nice little opening part of the race for this new team.
I watched these 2 race off turn 2 a lap before, and they about crashed. So it looks like maybe Starr's got a faster truck, and he's going to make the move down on the inside of TJ off turn 4. Tried to do that off turn 2, and it didn't work out quite so cleanly. And he's not done yet, by the way.
Ricky Carmichael right behind these 2 driving side by side.
We saw how tough it was for Jason White to make that move down on the inside of turn 1 and 2, and it looked like David Starr's experience told him he needed to back off the gas and let that spot go for now, and TJ Bell drives away from him.
Discretion, the better part of valor there.
One of the differences between the Camping World Truck Series and, for example, the Cup Series, the Truck Series is limited to a certain number of tires when they come here. And so when we came this weekend, because of we hadn't been here for quite some time, they were allotted 6 sets of tires for the day, but they could only start the race with 4 sets of tires. And normally Darlington is a racetrack that just tears tires up, but since they resurfaced it, it holds its speed pretty well.
Yeah, whole different animal. If they would only have 4 sets of tires probably on the old surface, and people, again, they would want new tires every 5 laps.
Right.
So it's a much different racetrack. Very, very difficult, and still as challenging as ever, but you don't have to deal with a give up in the tires.
Now there's 2 ways to go. Ricky Carmichael awful close to that wall. There's 2 ways to get to the front. If Kyle Busch had problems and started in the rear, it would have been highlight reel stuff. 3 wide on the apron, passed every which way.
On lap number 1.
That's the one way. Or you can do it like our buddy Schrader's doing it here. He's just sort of creeping his way to the front, but he's got plenty of time and he knows that, and he can get to the front before the end of this thing rolls around.
And he has that 5 truck of Mike Skinner. Ray talked about how many problems Skinner's already had after the initial start of the race, and Mike Skinner, there he is running with Kenny Schrader.
Looks like he's right in front of that group. Whoa, very close there. The 6 of Brett Butler slowing down right in the middle of this pack.
Wow, what happened to James
Busher slowing down as well.
He had
also off the
getting
pace
into turn 3 for some reason.
Todd Bodine wants to get around. Brian Eichler already did.
I think something happened to that truck, Phil.
I do too. This is a momentum racetrack, but he looked like he lost way too much momentum. Here's on board the Toyota onboard of Mike Skinner. There's Kenny Schrader. Kenny's going to lose that spot, it looks like, to Mike Skinner.
Donnie Leah just in front of Mike Skinner, and that's 0-7. So we see the 2 dropping back just a bit now.
You know, I went to the drivers meeting and listened to Wayne Otten tell these guys about race procedure, and he couldn't express or explain how important it was for the lap trucks to hold the bottom of the racetrack. Get plumb down off the track, he said, if you don't have your truck up to speed. And I think we saw right there with our leader splitting guys and going 3 wide, how much difference it makes if you catch those lap trucks in the right spot or if you don't.
Adam Alexander.
Rick, a moment ago, Michael talked about how Ken Schrader can take his time getting through the field because this is a long race and you have to exercise patience. After Austin Dillon had his problems a little bit ago and made that pit stop, they came on the radio and told him this is a long race. We're only 10 laps in. Well, in the last 8 laps, he's picked up 16 positions. He's being patient and working his way through the field, but you wouldn't know it the way he's driving past other trucks, right?
And Adam, Michael's question was, is there a problem with the 31 and James Busher? Not really with the truck, but the problem was he came up on a lap truck so quickly and had another truck on the outside. He had to completely slam on the brakes. It looked like he had almost come to a stop. So as Todd and a few of the other guys went sliding by him, it's not because Busher had a slow truck. It's because he had a slow truck in front of him. He almost had to stop for him.
And this is a momentum racetrack, too. And when we talked a little bit earlier that it depends on where you catch a lap truck. If you catch a lap truck in the wrong place like James Busher did, have to slam on the brakes like Ray talked about, then you can lose that run. It looked like he had a terminal problem. He was so slow and allowed those 2 trucks to get by him.
Todd Bodine looking very good around this racetrack now.
He's run up on the back of Brian Eichler and hadn't been able to make the move. Been alongside Brian a couple of times, but Todd talked earlier in the show that, look at him diving to the bottom there. He talked earlier in the show that he doesn't race any differently with this big point lead. He's still going to go try to win races. I'm going to question that a little bit. He's got to be careful, I think, especially in the early going at a track like here at Darlington. Maybe more careful than he would be normally.
Maybe carefully aggressive. How about that?
Never heard that before, but I'll go with you.
Timothy Peters still out in front of this field. He has a 1.3-second lead. Whoa, what a close call there.
With a lap truck of Brent Raymer, it looked like.
He has a 1.3-second lead over Ron Hornaday, but a close call for him just seconds ago. That was Brent Raymer in the 85.
Timothy's going to go around the outside. Brent gave him just about 1 truck width up there.
And did you see how out of control Brent was? As slow as he was going when the leader of Peters went around him, about sucked him sideways. He couldn't hardly control his truck.
Adam, what else is happening with Timothy Peters?
Well, Timothy Peters, in reference to what just happened on track with Brett Raymer, came on the radio and said, "What was that?" And quickly replying from the spotter stand, you heard, "I'll take care of it." So there's a good conversation going on the spotter stand right now. Just before that incident on track, Peters said the truck a little snug in turns 3 and 4. They will have some work to do when they make their first pit stop.
Well, I don't think Brett Raymer liked it that much either, because he just went to the garage area.
Maybe a little too close of a call for Brent Raymer. Again, Timothy Peters out in front of Hornaday. He's got a 1.7 second lead. Lofton, Eichler, and Bodine are your top 5. The lady in black under the lights from Darlington, South Carolina. It's been an exciting one already with 27 laps in the books. A big week coming up next week. It's Bristol week. Kicking it off is Dave Despain on assignment at 8 o'clock. That's going to be great. And then there'll be live updates on NASCAR Race Hub at 7 o'clock with Steve Burns. And obviously the big show happens on Wednesday, but it's not just trucks. We've got modifieds, trucks. It's a huge week on speed.
Yeah, we got a new set at the hub too, right?
And the Onion Toddley's going to be on the hub. He's going to be one of the guests on Monday at that new set.
And how much fun are the modifieds at Bristol Motor Speedway? That's a show, isn't it?
Talk about fast.
Great show. Mike Joy.
Great crowd too, man, here in Darlington, South Carolina. Folks showed up tonight to watch some trucks race in the middle of August in South Carolina. That's pretty cool.
And it's been so hot here in the Carolinas, but I'm telling you, it is beautiful now. It's, you know, upper 70s, but a nice night for racing as we see Timothy Peters continuing to dominate here at Darlington.
It was hot today, though.
It was hot. Then the clouds passed overhead and kind of cooled it off a little bit, but great night for racing.
Before we went away to commercial, the 30 was following the 18 of Brian Eichler. He has been able to get by Brian Eichler. Now he's driven up to the rear tailgate of the 7 of Justin Lofton. Here's how he got by Brian Eichler. He's been dogging him for several laps now. He's going to drive to the bottom. Just barely has enough room.
Yeah, he barely gets inside. And watch how long Eichler hangs on that right rear quarter panel with Todd Bodine. Todd would like just a break right there, but Brian's trying to hang in there with him. Todd slides up and swipes that spot. He's one of the fastest trucks. He's driven right up to the back of Justin Lofton, you see there. And just ahead of them is Ron Hornaday.
Lofton running in the 3rd spot. Bodine just behind him in 4th, right?
And Rick, from 8th to 4th, Todd has made all of his passes to the inside of his victims. They got ready to celebrate a big win at Nashville, and he and his wife Janet decided they were going to take the motorhome down to Myrtle Beach for a couple days. So they loaded up and left Charlotte, North Carolina on Tuesday, started to head to the beach, which is about an hour and a half away from here in Darlington. And Todd leaned over to Janet and said, "Did you bring the beach chairs?" She said, "No, I thought you did." He said, "Did you bring the beach towels?" She said, "No, I thought you did." "Did you bring the picnic basket?" "No, I thought you did." So guess what? They pulled into Darlington Raceway and celebrated right here at the track. Todd moving to the front, and they're celebrating that for sure, too, Adam.
Sounds like the relationship you and I have, Ray. I have to pick up all the slack week in and week out. Todd Bodine has stolen a lot of the fun in 2010 for this driver, Ron Hornaday. But Horn feels like he can get a win tonight in his first ever start in a truck at Darlington. The report for him in the early going, tight in traffic. He's currently scored in 2nd after starting 5th earlier this evening.
You know, there's about 900 of those stores at the beach that sell beach chairs and towels and all that stuff.
Take care of that.
Yeah.
You know, Hornaday said, you know, tight behind traffic, and I heard Brian Eichler earlier today in practice. I said, "Brian, what do you think about this racetrack, and who are you learning from?" And he said, "Well, I was trying to follow some trucks around here, but once I'd get up behind them, my truck got so tight that it would push up." He said, "I just couldn't stay behind him." Is that maybe a situation that Hornaday is feeling when he gets up behind somebody, he gets aero tight?
Well, I think it's more that you get your line taken away as well. I mean, visually, you're not hitting your marks exactly like you want to, because we said this track's real narrow, so a truck up ahead of you, it fills up almost the whole turn. So I think you lose a little bit of your vision, and it takes your line away somewhat. And then the aero part of it is certainly a piece as well, but I think it's a multiple of things that make that happen.
And you're running right up against the wall to start with. Right. So if you get a little bit tighter and that thing starts to lose that front end, then what happens?
You get a Darlington stripe. Striping the field right now is the 17 of Timothy Peters. Germain Racing trying to find victory lane again. Tomorrow, NASCAR Race Day marches into Michigan as A.J. Allmendinger, Denny Hamlin, Juan Pablo Montoya, the winner at Watkins Glen, will join us live. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Michigan tomorrow, 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Timothy Peters still out front. He has about a 3.5-second lead over Hornaday. Bodine, Lofton, and Eichler are your top 5, and a caution has come back out here at Darlington. This time it's debris on the racetrack, and it's timed out pretty well. I think guys were probably thinking it's about time to get onto pit road.
I was watching Todd Bodine. He's definitely thinking that. He had a run up to the 3rd spot and looked like he had something to challenge Timothy Peters with, but he's gotten really tight off the turns. When he leaves turn 2, he's losing all of his momentum over there. He swapped spots with Justin Lofton for a lap or 2. He was able to get back around Justin, but Todd's pushing. He lost this spot to Justin while we were in break, and I'll be darned if he doesn't drive right back around him. So, you know, Phil, we talk about this being a momentum racetrack. You make a mistake and have to get all the way out of the gas. I mean, somebody can drive right around you in a hurry. And that right there on the exit is where Todd's struggling. So they'll make some adjustments to that truck and look for him to pick up the pace. They can take some air pressure out of those, maybe out of that right front tire, put a little air in the right rear tire, or perhaps a wedge or track bar adjustment. They have many options that they can do. And you know what the cool thing is? They'll still make a pit stop in about 13 or 14 seconds, even though they're making all those adjustments as well.
They're about to do just that as we see the race leader, Timothy Peters, bringing the field onto pit road. We go down trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Trying to get a number on the tightness for the number 30 Germain truck. He said to his crew chief, Mike Hillman, I'll give it a 6 right now. So let's go ahead and make a major adjustment. They'll change the air pressure in the right rear and also do a chassis adjustment. Todd rolls in here, came to the pit road in 3rd place. Adam?
And just in front of him, the driver you see middle of your screen, Ron Hornaday. He talked about his truck being tight. They will make a slight adjustment to try and help the handling there. Top of your screen, Timothy Peters started on the pole, has led every lap. He too said his truck was tight, but he said he had helped it by changing his line. Jeff Hensley was going to make a track bar adjustment. They have changed that, air pressure only. Timothy Peters came to pit road in the lead. We'll see if he can win the battle off of pit road for pit stall number 1. Indeed he can. Oh, it was close.
Actually lost
Hornaday
a spot.
got him.
Hornaday got him by about a foot. Racing off of pit road there. So Hornaday moves up a spot. Peters drops back 1. Brian Eichler moving up a couple positions. Aaron's lucky dog goes to the tire monkey.
Look at that monkey on there. I bet you that monkey's scared here. I mean, right out next to that wall at Darlington. No wonder it's screaming.
Got turned around earlier in that incident.
Certainly did.
With Dennis Setzer.
When the caution came out, there were 19 trucks on the lead lap. We'll see if anybody stays out and tries some strategy to get around back on that lead lap. Welcome back to the Too Tough to Tame 200 from Darlington Raceway. How about Ron Hornaday racing off of pit road and getting the spot away from the 17 of Timothy Peters.
You see Timothy Peters in the pits. That line right in front of him. That line is not the speed time line. That one is right there. That's the pit out line, and that's how Ron Hornaday beat him to the line to get this lead on the restart.
And he almost, even though his stop was slower because he had that pit box from qualifying on the pole, he almost kept that lead, but Hornaday was able just to inch him out by a few inches.
And we'll see how well
Ron Hornaday,
Hornaday uses or chose the outside line here, spins the tires a bit now as a green flag flies.
Timothy Peters may have the advantage when they get down to this corner.
Ooh, I don't like where Timothy's at.
I don't think either one of them are going to back off. And they did.
Side by side for the lead as they come out of turn number 2.
That is so hard to do what Timothy Peters did. He was aggressive. He tried to stay on the outside on the inside of Ron, and you know, it's so narrow, so tight, and Ron's going to pinch him down, and that thing will spin around in a hurry. Oh, we got one in the wall. Is that Aaron?
Almirola's in the wall.
See if he's able to continue on.
He is. He lost all his momentum. I don't think that's enough to hurt his chances again of winning, but it's slowing him down at the moment.
You know, some of these teams took some extra precautions about knowing the fact that they were going to get in the outside wall. I know Mike Skinner's crew chief Stacy Johnson said they put a 4x4 in the side of that truck to give them a little more strength back there in the right side of the truck.
Oh, riding along with Mike Skinner, taking a look at that 51. And now side by side, Eichler was on the outside. Bodine trying to get by. He takes the 3rd spot away from Eichler.
If Todd Spider called him clear there, he's the best spotter I ever saw in my whole life. I think Todd just took for granted he was clear and moved up and took that spot away from Eichler.
Here comes Stacy Compton. He's going by the 51. It looks like that 51's got some problems now.
Yeah, it may have knocked the toe out of that truck. I don't think the body damage is necessarily what's going to hurt that truck. But if the front wheels now are not aligned like they started out, then that could hurt it.
Oh, and look at it go back up the hill again. He's in the wall again. You're right, Phil. Something definitely maybe knocked that toe end out in the front end.
And remember, this is our second place driver in the points right now.
Look at TJ Bell thinking about making a move that he shouldn't, but then wisely deciding not to. And remember, Jason White, he had been down on the inside of Austin Dillon and spun out earlier. Didn't scare him though, did it? He went right back down there and took that spot away from Eric Almirola.
Almirola now all over the back bumper of Jason White, and still having a problem keeping it down on the racetrack, almost up into the wall again. And we see TJ Bell on the 50 looking for an opportunity to get by that 51.
Almirola can get down in the corner, but he can't get through the center of the corner. Let's look back at the first time he got in the wall here. He's behind Todd Bodine.
Oh, he's sideways.
Got sideways, had to chase it up the hill. Had to chase it to 8 feet up the hill to where the wall was.
This was the second time into the wall.
He definitely has some problems. He's going to need another caution flag to be able to adjust on that truck. Again, the body damage is going to be minimal, but it looks like those front tires now are not aligned properly.
Check out this battle for the lead. Todd Bodine got to pit road, got that adjustment that he needed, and he's starting to heat up the back of Timothy Peters.
You know, Hornaday out in front, but only by about 0.4 of a second. Timothy Peters, when he was out front, he was able to put about a second to a second and a half between him and second. We'll see how evenly matched these three trucks are that are out front, Hornaday, Peters, and Bodine.
It has a lot to do with clean air and clean racetrack.
We got some smoke coming out of
Jason White.
Jason White's motor looks like it has expired on that 23.
Jason was in that 10th spot in the points. He's had an up and down year, a lot of problems getting to the finish at some of these races.
And that's pretty much our hope for Dodge to continue the string here.
Yep.
Dodge won all 4 previous races, but that doesn't sound too good.
No, not at all.
Wow. My buddy Schrader would say something really important inside of the engine broke.
Yeah.
Which is why we turn to him for all sorts of knowledge.
Well, he's got that experience, you know.
He does have experience. The hood going up on the 23 for Jason White. Right along.
Yeah, some nasty sounds coming from the... Yeah, there's all sorts of things that are going the wrong direction in that engine.
And he knew it. He was down out of the groove.
And just as we thought, they're going to push him to the garage. Tough break for Jason. He came in here 10th in points.
So he'll go behind the wall. That puts him with Raymer, Butler, Miller, Lafferty, Garvey, Jones, Hobgood, Jackson, and Oliver all behind the wall here at Darlington Raceway. How about that crowd? Enjoying a good race here. The Too Tough to Tame 200 will return in just a moment.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
You know, regular detailing by the professionals at Camping World's RV Spa and Service Center helps keep your RV looking like new, and it sure is going to help maintain its value. And it also saves you lots of time and effort. You know, whenever I go to the garage area in the NASCAR races, you're going to see the drivers' motorhomes looking absolutely spotless. But the real truth is, average people who work every day don't have time to keep them as clean as they would like. And the bottom line is, if you keep your RV clean, it's going to help maintain its value. Now, the really nice thing about Camping World's RV and Spa Center is you can bring this in and set up an appointment to get yours cleaned right when you're doing your regular maintenance.
The Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. More prizes and more chances to win. To enter, see the complete prize descriptions and the official rules. Visit campingworld.com/racing. Does Ray not know that gravity will bring the water down? So if you spray it up a little higher.
He's going to watch from the bottom up. Rinse from the bottom up.
And will somebody call down and tell Ray it indeed did get dark tonight?
It did. Ryan C. got the Aaron's lucky dog. So he will make his way around the pace truck.
All right.
This one might need a little Camping World RV Spa.
Hey, they can paint them there too now.
Yes.
It's got the number 15 on there. I like that.
They can do a lot of work. Let's go down to Adam Alexander.
And a couple of different drivers making their pit stops here with lap 61 going on the board. This is the second time Eric Almirola has been down the pit lane. The first time they came in a lap ago, they changed right side tires and worked on that right rear fender and the spoiler. You can see them continuing work there. Also coming down the pit lane on this caution, the two of Ken Schrader. Of course, he had a great qualifying run, dropped to the tail after they changed a battery prior to the green, so they're a little out of sequence. They continue to fight problems with voltage, so they're working there and changing tires on the two as well.
Yeah, they're back in the left rear corner of that truck. That's where the battery's located. They must be putting another battery in there.
I would guess so. Probably the alternator may not be working, and that's why the first battery went dead. And obviously, without having an alternator to charge the system, it will continue to drain that battery.
And he's real close to losing a lap. The field's coming off turn 4, and these guys don't look like they're wrapping up. There they go, coming to 1 to go. So it'll be important for him to get out of there.
Well, be the biggest racing fan you can be with Verizon Championship Racing at the track and on your phone. From nationwide IndyCar driver meet and greets to exclusive peeks inside the Penske garage, right on your VCAS phone. We're your hard card to racing nirvana. Only from the network with the most 3G coverage, Verizon. Adam Alexander, what's happening with the two truck?
I just wanted to confirm exactly what they were doing when Ken Schrader came down pit road. They were working in that left rear. They have solved the battery problems, they believe. They were just trying to add a spring rubber to help the handling of his truck. He started at the tail of the field, drove up inside the top 15, really have been able to make no further gains, so they're trying to adjust on it so he can make a run late in the race.
I think you need to check with them again, Adam. It looked like they were working in the front of the left rear wheel area where that battery's located. Maybe a chassis adjustment as well, but there were definitely something going on more than just a spring rubber.
They may not have really secured that battery as well as they would have liked initially on the pace laps of the race, so they may have taken that time to secure that battery better.
Are you surprised at all that Hornaday is choosing the outside line once again for the restart?
Not really, and I think it goes back to Rick, what we saw happen to Jason White. You get pinched down on the bottom of the racetrack, and you could lose your truck in a hurry. When you have the ability to start the race, he gets the advantage on the start. He can jump. That gives his nose the clear path to turn down into that corner. So I like this decision, and I understand it completely. Timothy Peters, it'll be challenging for him to run down on the inside of Hornaday like he did on that last restart. He could have easily crashed.
A lot better restart this time for Hornaday.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that made the last one look so bad, is he did not get a good restart. As hard as it is to say that Ron Hornaday didn't get a good restart, that allowed Timothy to be dead even with him. Now Timothy was dead even with Brian Eichler and lost that spot.
And made some contact with Brian Eichler as they were going through 1 and 2. And now Timothy, you talked about momentum at this racetrack, has lost some of that momentum, trying to keep it up as Todd.
Oh, Todd makes contact.
A little contact. Timothy trying to stay out of the wall as they come out of turn 4.
That allowed Matt Crafton to get by Timothy Peters. Now Todd's going to go by as well as Justin Lofton. It's amazing how being beat out of the pits by about a foot could really ruin Timothy Peters' night potentially.
Well, this looks a whole lot like Nashville, doesn't it? He got out front early and was dominating, and then couldn't find the handle on the truck as we raced through the halfway point. Looks a lot like tonight. And Phil, you're exactly right. Track position is what's cost Timothy Peters in this race so far. And darn, it was a good pit stop. He just needed to get there about a foot sooner, and he'd be leading the darn race.
Riding along with Mike Skinner. It's Donnie Leon is outside in the 07 right in front of him.
That was a battle for the 10th spot. Mike Skinner up into the top 10 after his problems early. Here comes Austin Dillon, another cat that had some trouble in the early going, got knocked into the wall, and now he's trying to get that 11th spot away from Donnie Leon.
James Busher in the 31 on the inside of TJ Bell in the 50, and Stacy Compton just behind them in the 60 truck.
How cool is it with TJ Bell, new sponsor on the side of that truck? He's back in the series, and he's running very competitively, racing alongside James Busher as they dive down into turn 1. He's able to hold that spot.
Just outside of the top 10, running with some great trucks there. You see the 30th top out. Let's go back to the very restart of this race here. Ron Hornaday on the outside. Remember, Timothy Peters on the inside. This is right after they went down in the corner. Here's the contact between the 17 and the 18. That's Timothy Peters and Brian Eichler.
And then that gives Todd the run he needs to get down on the inside of Timothy Peters, but he can't hold his truck down.
And we're going to get some more contact here. Almost puts Timothy in the outside wall. You see Todd chasing it up the hill. Just barely made slight contact with Timothy. Timothy did a great job holding on to that truck to allow Justin Lofton to get by as well. Now Timothy Peters back to the 6th position.
Timothy able to keep that truck out of the wall as well, going sideways through 3 and 4. Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, I told you they made an air pressure adjustment on that Germain Toyota. Todd came on the radio and told his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., it's like you didn't even touch it. Still very tight. We need a lot bigger adjustment on the next round of pit stops for sure.
And he's only got probably one more chance to make that adjustment, Phil. I think these guys will probably come to pit road one more time, and then they'll have to make a big swing at it to try to get that adjustment Todd's looking for.
How about that 88 truck in the 3rd position? Matt Crafton. Matt's been on fire here consistently. Good finishes. We talked to him during our qualifying show and said he wasn't very good in practice. They threw everything at it. Then after the 2nd practice, they threw the kitchen sink at it. They got all that stuff at Menards. And now here he is running up in the 3rd position.
Now, did they put all that in the bed of the truck when they did that?
Well, you can haul stuff in a truck.
You can haul a kitchen sink. We take a look at Ricky Carmichael in the number 4. He is having an interesting night here at the Lady in Black. Let's listen into his radio communication.
Doing a good job, man. Racing the racetrack just like last time. Let those other guys make the mistakes. They're picking themselves off one at a time.
Picking themselves off one at a time.
Todd Bodine just picked off that 3rd spot from Matt Crafton.
You know, the beauty thing about Darlington, we talk about how narrow it is, but Todd's got a tight race truck. He can't get it to turn, but watch where he goes when he gets down in the corner. Because it's tight, he's going to use every inch of this racing surface, running right out next to the wall, finding a little bit more grip out there, helping his truck handle better. And that's the thing about Todd Bodine. He's done this long enough. He knows he can't just drive that truck in one groove and let it push. He's got to feel around and see if there's some pavement out there that will assist him in getting around the corners. It looks like he's found a new line.
Hornaday's going to go by the slower lap traffic of Norm Benning in the 57. Right behind him, though, that's Brian Eichler. He is just 0.6 of a second behind race leader Ron Hornaday. Can Hornaday hold on and win at the track Too Tough to Tame? Well, you're going to have to stick around to find out. There's only been 2 out front tonight. Timothy Peters led the first 47 laps, and now it's been all Ron Hornaday since. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Damp Rid. Because the key to mold control is moisture control. Control them both with Damp Rid. By Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects the rider like Allstate. Are you in good hands? And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. We're under the 5th caution of the night, and that is the reason why TJ Bell had some problems with his truck. Into the wall he went, and now here come your race leaders on pit road. We go to Ray Dunlap.
Down on my end, Brian Eichler talking about wanting an air pressure adjustment. Crew chief Eric Phillips said only come if Hornaday does, and it's a last second Hornaday ducked down there, so they'll go to work on this number 18 Toyota. Packet full of fuel. This will be a 4-tire stop. For Todd Bodine, you see him on the bottom of the screen. He wants a bigger adjustment than they made the last time for sure. They're going to put wedge in the Germain Toyota. Adam?
Top of your screen, race leader Ron Hornaday said I'm good in 1 and 2, tight in 3 and 4. Kevin Buskirk said we'll make an air pressure adjustment. It will be 4 tires and fuel. Hornaday pulls away. The last time on pit road, he picked up a spot to gain the lead. And it looks like this time Austin Dillon with pit strategy will be the first off the pit lane.
Yeah, I would guess 2 tires for Austin Dillon, probably Stacy Compton as well as Kenny Schrader. Then I think 4 tires probably from there on back.
You know, that had been about 27 laps, Phil, since these guys have been to pit road. And I think that was right on the edge of whether they even wanted to pit or not. And so certainly I think with this new surface that we talk about here at Darlington, 2 tires is a great call for these guys. Get that track position back that both the three of Austin Dillon. Watch the 17. He doesn't get rolling. Man, that's another bad break on pit road that has cost him a lot of spots. But the 3 and the 2 of Kenny Schrader had problems early, but now they've been able to gain that track position back through pit strategy. Good call.
Double A.
And just to confirm on Austin Dillon, it was fuel only, not right side tires. And I'm guessing the reason for that is they have already made a couple of pit stops tonight, taking tires. They may want to save a set for late in the race. So fuel only for Austin Dillon on this pit stop at lap 76, and he will be the race leader.
So Austin Dillon utilizing some pit strategy. There you see the 50 of TJ Bell on the back of the hook. You see him into the wall there.
Wow. It had the looks of maybe a cut down right front tire.
Was that the whole race? I think there's more to this story. I think that he got into the wall there, maybe cut a tire, maybe got a fender in on a tire, and then wound up crashing into the wall. You can see there a lot of damage to the right front. So that was probably what caused, you see the brake rotors, the brake rotor falling apart, pieces coming off that truck. That was probably the reason why he hit the wall. There's the big hit.
Yeah, yeah. Remember, he was running with Kenny Schrader the first time around when he scrubbed it, and this is the same part of the racetrack, and it took a lap for that whatever fender brace or whatever it was to rub that right front tire.
There's your Aaron's lucky dog, Dennis Setzer, off pit road, back on the lead lap.
Mario Gonsolin actually stayed out on the racetrack. He's credited for leading the last lap. Experience Bristol Motor Speedway like never before. Purchase your ticket to the Speed Pit Road Party Zone and receive the same infield access as drivers, owners, and teams to the famous Bristol Night Race. Plus dinner, drinks, and much more. Visit speed.com. Keyword promos for more information. Join us in the Speed Pit Road Party Zone at Bristol Motor Speedway.
I'm going to go there. That's
going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of good times at Bristol. Hey, Ray, what's happening?
Hey, Mikey, on the first round of pit stops, Stacy Compton had a real bad stop. They had lug nuts hang up on the right front. So on this round, they decided to do right side tires only. I talked to his crew chief, Chad Kendrick, and he said the left sides are wearing great here at Darlington this weekend. He's not even sure that he won't do another 2-tire stop. He said the track position's so important, he went from 13th to 2nd by taking 2 tires.
And we'll see if he's able to stay up there. Austin Dillon will start on the outside. He brings the field back to the green flag. We're back underway at Darlington.
Austin gets a great jump, and remember, that strategy would not have been possible back on the old surface. No way would you consider changing 2 tires or fuel only like Austin Dillon did.
Did you see that start Austin got? He said, last time somebody was on the inside of me going into turn 1, I got crashed. I'm not going to take a chance this time.
Ooh, a little sideways there for Eichler in the 18.
Timothy Peters as well.
We've seen a little contact between those two today.
Look how those trucks fill up that racetrack, Phil. There's just no margin for error. You get a little bit sideways and correct your truck, you're either going to hit another truck or the wall.
You know, most of the racetracks we go to are 60 or 70 feet wide, literally. This racetrack I measured one time is about 27 feet wide, the raceable part of this racetrack.
So these trucks could easily go 3 wide.
Well, yeah, if you park them,
if they were touching,
if you park them.
A little bit of contact all over this racetrack.
You talk about touching. Oh. There's a little bit of touching right there. There's a 2 of Kenny Schrader. Ooh, the 17. I mean, that's the 7 of Justin Lofton. That's why we saw Timothy Peters go way down low here. Here's another view.
Wow, that was close.
That's Eichler at the 18 just in front. He looked like he was getting hung up on that 7 of Lofton, and then it just kicked him right out to the bottom of the racetrack.
See the 81 of David Starr. He was like, you guys go somewhere. I got to get through here.
Hornaday and Bodine running 2nd and 3rd. Bodine right up against the wall.
He's found that new groove, Rick. I think that's a result of his truck not working the way he wanted it to in the middle of the track. Todd, being the great driver that he is, he understands he's got to make moves. He's got to move around to make it work, and now he's making a move to the bottom on Hornaday.
Good hard run. Ooh, Hornaday gets a little bit loose up there, head the right side.
Problem for Ricky Carmichael. He's sideways. Now he gets it straightened back out.
We stay green for now.
The green flag still in the air here.
No caution.
Carmichael getting back up to speed.
No caution. Keep digging.
And how about the pass by Hornaday and Bodine? And now side by side, Peters and the 2 of Ken Schrader.
It's a battle for the 8th position. Timothy just took over that 8th spot from Kenny Schrader. Johnny Sauter right now behind Kenny Schrader. It's the first time we've talked about Johnny. There's a good shot from his onboard camera looking out at Kenny Schrader's truck.
We talked to him earlier, and Johnny had talked about not having a good qualifying run, but felt like he had a truck he could be competitive with. He has been quiet so far, but sneaking up inside that top 10 now.
Side by side again. Justin Lofton on the inside of Stacy Compton. Compton falls back, but now looks to the inside of Justin Compton.
Justin who?
Justin Lofton. I got both of them in that one.
A lot of stuff going on, Rick. I understand.
Brian Eichler just behind him in the 18. Let's catch up on, Ricky Carmichael into the wall.
Oh, that's just a little bit of contact. That's your classic Darlington stripe, but he's lost his momentum. You can see Skinner dives to the inside of Ricky down into turn 1, and that just gets him up too high. He gave Skinner the room Skinner needed, and that was a result. That spin was a result of the contact he made off turn 4. We talked about how important it is to keep your momentum. He lost his, and watch Skinner dives to the bottom. He gets too high, and around he goes.
Had the right sides up and the loose stuff there. It's hard to believe that you can have any loose stuff up against the wall, but right entering turn number 3 there, that most of the people don't use the entire racetrack. Turn 1.
Johnny Sauter looking to the inside of Ken Schrader now.
Schrader grabbed that track position, but he hasn't been able to hold it, guys. You know, we saw Austin Dillon with the tires, the no tire strategy. Schrader with maybe 2 tires, and Austin's been able to keep up with Brian. Schrader's falling back.
There's Stacy Compton trying to stay in front of Brian Eichler. Schrader and Johnny Sauter on the right side of your screen. Compton now trying to stay in front of the 18. Here comes Eichler, though. Eichler taking the position away from Stacy Compton, and maybe the 2-tire stop isn't working for Compton either.
Almost right now seems like no tires was better than 2 tires, but with 59 laps to go, we know we're going to have another pit stop for everybody. Johnny Sauter right of your screen getting by Kenny Schrader.
Here comes Mike Skinner up into this battle too. He'll drop to the inside off turn 4 and make a move on Schrader as well. And here comes Matt Crafton. So Schrader's thinking, man, I wish these guys would all go away. And now they are.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he likes to see it this way, though. Going away in the rearview mirror a lot better. Here's the battle for the lead. Todd Bodine reeling in that 3 of Austin Dillon.
Todd's found that groove up top. He's coming in on, closing in on Austin Dillon.
Last time by, it was 0.388 seconds, the difference. This time, 0.448 the difference. And caution on the racetrack. It's the 6th caution of the night.
Something happened off turn 4.
There's a truck right there. Is that Donnie Lee in the 07?
Yep, Donnie Lee.
That's more than a Darlington stripe there. That's a crash.
Yeah. Look at that right front tire aimed out.
And then the sparks begin to fly as the metal rubbing the racetrack here.
This just about gets these trucks in their window. Actually, they will be in their window right now. So I think we'll see every truck on pit road. This will probably be their final stop, or potentially their final stop.
Got an easy trivia question for you guys.
I want to hear it.
RCR has won 8 times in the Cup Series at this racetrack. You know the last driver to win for RCR at Darlington?
Dale Earnhardt.
Correct.
That was too easy.
That's why I said it was easy. Take a look at this in the back of your screen.
Yep. Look at the right side there. It looks like the right front tire went down for Donnie Lee. But again, we don't know if there may have been some contact with the outside wall that precipitated that.
We caught that earlier with TJ Bell. We saw him scrubbing along the wall, and then he hit the wall. And that
1 lap later.
That means the tire went, and that could have been the same case with Donnie. Very rarely do these Goodyear tires just blow out unless they got some metal rubbing on them. Remember those clippers that Timothy Peters had earlier in the show?
Mm-hmm.
We need to loan them to Donnie's guys, get that fender all cut away from that right front tire. Maybe we can get back out there and finish this race.
Could RCR go back to victory lane at Darlington? Austin Dillon is the guy who could do that for them tonight. Aaron's lucky dog goes to Jennifer Jo Cobb.
Jennifer Jo had just taken a wave around. She was 2 down, and now she gets the Aaron's lucky dog. So right back on the lead lap just that quick.
And that will put 19 on the lead lap here at Darlington Raceway. So Austin Dillon has been able to stay out in front and lead some laps, 14 to be exact. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you from the track Too Tough to Tame. Adam Alexander, Ray Dunlap giving us all the stories from pit road. Just 54 laps of racing remain. And out in front, it's Austin Dillon. We've had 4 different drivers and 3 different lead changes. Our average speed of this race, 110.17 miles per hour. We've been slowed down 6 times 24 cautions, 23 laps, and 11 trucks out of the race.
You know, we had several trucks come down pit road. James Busher, Kenny Schrader, Eric Almirola. And I'm really surprised more trucks didn't take this opportunity, because Ray told us during the break that Todd Bodine said they were not quite in their window in the event we had some multiple green-white checkers. But with only 54 laps to go right now, it'll be 53 when they take the green. I swear I believe most of these guys could have made it the rest of the way.
Look at Matt Crafton driving down to the bottom off the racetrack. Austin Dillon has a great start. You know, I thought the guy that won this race would have a Darlington stripe down the side of his truck, and Austin's leading, and he's got one.
Todd Bodine just behind him. Justin Lofton, those three trucks trying to separate themselves. We see Hornaday on the inside.
Look like Hornaday got real loose getting down in that corner. Timothy Peters just drove away from him when they got there.
Did you see David Starr blowing up dust and gravel as he come through turn 3 and 4? That's how close he was to the wall.
Mike Skinner by the 60 of Stacy Compton. There's Compton just in front of Johnny Sauter.
You know, I like the strategy you talked about, Phil. Some of these guys that made that pit stop, because Austin Dillon's out there on those same tires leading the race. The caution flies. These guys all come to pit road.
And problems. Mario Gosling gets into the wall. He collects the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. Now back down the racetrack. Let's make sure that he doesn't get into the path of any of the other drivers. He stays clear, but hard hit to the inside wall for Ricky Carmichael as well.
Just a wrong place at the wrong time for Ricky Carmichael. It seems like that's been a good majority of the season. See, Mario, that's 2 weeks in a row with pretty significant damage to the tire monkey.
Yeah, that's hard crash there. We talked at Nashville that he didn't really have the trucks to be reckoned like he did at Nashville, and this is another one that's gonna require a lot of work to get it fixed. See Ricky kind of dejected there, trying to work his way out of that truck. That was a real big hit for Ricky Carmichael. He got clipped right in the right rear quarter panel, and it just turned him.
See, Mario just got loose getting down in the corner. Tries to keep it up against the wall, but he clips the right rear quarter of Ricky Carmichael's truck and turns Ricky just about head on into that wall.
And Ricky makes more contact with the inside wall.
Yeah, by this time he has no brakes. He probably broke a brake rotor when he hit the outside wall. There's Mario, gets into the outside wall, and then watch him just clip the corner of that truck and puts him at least at a 45-degree angle anyway.
You just have to be so thankful for these safer barriers. Haven't hit that concrete before, Phil, like you and I have. You watch this angle Ricky Carmichael hits this wall with, heading there with his foot wide open on the floor and driving straight into that wall. Man, that hurts so bad.
Well, let's ride along with him and see what it sounds like.
As you mentioned, back in the throttle.
Wide open.
Wide open. Now hits the inside wall again, more than likely no brakes. The only thing in his favor were all the wheels were pointed in the wrong direction. That's why the truck wasn't any faster when it hit the inside wall. There's real time. Watch him just turn right into the outside wall.
What do you need, about a foot or so to
That's about all.
To be clear. Instead, he's got a totaled out race truck. Look at that thing. You could see the damage to the right rear where Mario hooked him.
And the 46 of Clay Greenfield, the Aaron's Lucky Dog recipient. So a hard hit from Mario Gosling to Ricky Carmichael. Stay with us. More racing from Darlington after this. Thursday on Speed at 8, the fastest cars ever compete on an all-new Pinks All Out from Route 66, Chicago. Then at 10, Tanner Faust, Aston Martin DBS challenges Paul Tracy's Bentley Supersport on a new battle of the supercars presented by Michelin. Thursday beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Hey, race fans, Sunoco's Free Fuel 5000 is back. Just get your Sunoco decal, put it on your car, get spotted, and win. We've got spotters visiting every participating Sunoco, and if we see you with it while you're there filling up, you'll win one of thousands of instant prizes and a shot at the grand prize, 5,000 gallons of Sunoco fuel.
These
For more
guys.
information, go to Sunoco. Go Sunoco.com. I know you're excited.
I'm
Jump
sorry,
right in.
They got a pit, right?
Well, Austin Dillon is. Todd Bodine stays on the racetrack.
Austin Dillon, again, came in The last
it's a good
time
move, Austin. I'm telling you,
most
these
of the
guys
field
stay down.
came
This
down.
is a good move. Keep coming.
I agree with
He
the
got
spotter. Did you
fuel.
hear that?
Andy
Houston said that's a good move, and I totally agree. Track position is so critical here, and they're going to have it, Ray.
Yeah, and Matt Crafton decided to do the same thing. They brought that 88 in, and there you see the 3 will go down to Adam.
And Danny Stockman, the crew chief for Austin Dillon, I think may have an ulcer after waiting out and making this decision. He asked Austin, are you tight? Austin replied, not out front. They came down pit road, as you see, 4 tires, a slight air pressure adjustment. Everyone likely going to come and pit again, and then it will cycle through for the rookie. How special would it be for him to win here at Darlington?
I told you before the race started, I liked him to win this race. He's watched races here his whole life. He hasn't had the negative things that most guys have had when they come to Darlington, bouncing off the wall. Although he didn't take him long to bounce off of it. Tonight he did it. Lap 3 or 4, he got to the outside wall, and now he's gathered a track position back up. I love this strategy.
So Austin Dillon gives up the lead to come onto pit road. Stacy Compton did the same thing. The reason why we're under this caution, Mario Goslin into the wall. He collects the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. Those 2 trucks are out of this race. Difficult night for Goslin as well as Ricky Carmichael. Just 46 laps remain from Darlington. Stay with us. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. The Too Tough to Tame 200 continues here on speed. Now we go trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, we got about 45 to go. Why didn't you pit, Mike?
We're really close on fuel now. The Germain Tundra's really good. We don't have enough laps on our tires to come down pit road yet and give up our track position. Clean air's been really important tonight. Just really proud of how hard all these guys work, and couldn't ask them to work any harder. We'll see what we got for them.
All right, Mike Hillman Jr. says they're going to wait. They'll be back for tires soon.
Now, we disagree with Richie Waters all the time, and he usually is right, but I'm going to disagree with Mike Hillman Jr. and say that isn't the right call right now. But that shouldn't worry Mike, right? I mean, we just have our opinion.
Yeah, we're usually wrong.
My opinion is you need to be have your pitting done right now.
44 laps remain. Todd Bodine in front, trying to make it back-to-back wins in the Camping World Truck Series. Side by side for second, Hornaday and Lofton.
You can see that inside line, Rick. They're just straight training around the outside of Justin Lofton.
Lofton on the out or the inside now as Timothy Peters on the outside in that 17. Peters is going to get the position. Here comes Eichler in the 18. He also gets by the 7 of Lofton.
Right up to the top of the racetrack.
Going to have a battle for the lead. It looks like Hornaday's wanting to get that lead from Todd Bodine. Or excuse me.
He can take it away if he wants, but I think Todd Bodine's going to say, not so quick.
Well, Hornaday may say excuse me when he gets up there.
I've never known Hornaday to act like that. He usually takes. He's a taker. The track's a biter and he's a taker.
He's not a giver.
The 7 of Lofton trying to take the position away from the 18 of Eichler. They continue to be side by side as they cross the stripe. Eichler's got the advantage. Now here comes Lofton again. He'll take that position. Oh.
What about Peters? He drives around Hornaday, grabs the 2nd spot.
Oh, problems right behind him. The 7 of Lofton gets into the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Wow, a lot of damage to that 5 truck of Mike Skinner's.
Pretty much done, boys.
That's a good assessment of the damage.
I'm coming to pit road.
Lofton was down on the inside of another truck the last time we saw him, and you know how hard that is, Phil, to hold your truck straight when you're pinched down in the corner. Maybe that's what happened. It was just after they entered turn 1 where he would have crashed if he had been alongside another guy.
Looks like Mark Rett, crew chief for Justin Lofton.
You can see Skinner's right front tire isn't even turning. Go to the garage area and work on that, I believe.
Yeah, that's
might be done.
Considerable amount of damage to that truck.
Crew looking at it saying, yep, behind the wall, Mike. And there's the damage to the 7 of Justin Lofton.
He's going to head straight to the garage as well. You see.
Yep, just what we thought. He was down on the inside.
But Brian Eichler, remember there's a little bit of history with those 2 drivers from maybe from last weekend.
Well, Eichler, in my opinion, didn't do anything wrong last weekend, and I don't think he did anything wrong there.
81 of David Starr making a little bit of damage to the back of that 7.
There's Mike Skinner's truck. That's when he makes contact with the 7 of Justin Lofton.
Right,
you can see Lofton down on the inside. Gets loose on the entering the corner and sideways. Great job by David Starr just holding his ground, making sure he didn't make any evasive moves.
What a close call for Johnny Sauter to make it through there as well, and a lot of damage to the 5 truck. His crew goes to work on that.
And how about that call by Austin Dillon's team to bring him down pit road? He has already moved into the 8th position here, knowing he's done pitting, and everybody in front of him, and I mean everybody in front of him,
will have
more
to
than
come
likely
pit
will
road.
have to come in. Now James Busher came in on lap number 92, so there's a possibility that he could make it the rest of the way, so he may be able to stay out.
I'd say especially with these caution laps that we've had since then, he's all set to go to the distance as well.
So involved in our most recent crash, bringing out the 8th caution, Skinner, Lofton, and Starr. A lot of damage to that 5 truck. And welcome back to the Too Tough to Tame 200 from Darlington Raceway. Now a little bit different strategy coming into play.
We've had so many caution laps. The majority of the guys up front pitted on lap number 76. That was obviously 71 laps from the end, which is right outside their window. We've had so many caution laps. Not only are we thinking these guys may go the distance, we overheard Mike Hillman Jr. talking during the break that maybe they decide now not to pit, to stay out with what they have.
Green flag back in the air. 38 laps of racing to go. Timothy Peters racing hard on the inside of Todd Bodine now, trying to take that lead away.
You got to get off this corner.
Oh man, that's so tight over there off turn 2, and he just wasn't able to keep his momentum. Now not only is he not going to get the lead, he's going to lose 2nd and 3rd.
So now Hornaday trying to get by him for the 3rd spot. Timothy Peters sees an opening. Let's see if he takes it.
Man, he was thinking he was going to grab the lead off turn 2, and there he is battling for the 3rd spot off turn 4.
On his outside, it's the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Adam?
And you talk about those 2 drivers battling for position. Timothy Peters in front of Ron Hornaday. The Peters bunch said earlier they were short on fuel. They would need some cautions. And I just talked to Kevin Buskirk, Ron Hornaday's crew chief, and I said, how close is it? He said, it's close. I said, do you need more caution laps? He said, 1 or 2 would be nice, Ray.
Well, Mike Skinner has just jumped out of his truck. First of all, are you okay? That was a pretty hard hit.
Yeah, Ray, I'm fine.
Can you tell us what happened? We kind of caught the tail end of what happened on the racetrack.
I guess you'd have to look at the replay. I think somebody wrecked the 7 trucks, and then the 7 truck come across and got us. He was already wrecked, and we had nowhere to go. Hate it for international trucks, the Monaco RV's Tundra. Struggled a little bit. We kept on working on it. Looked like we maybe going to squander a top 5 finish out of this thing. But I guess it wasn't meant to be for us tonight. Somebody caused a wreck. We got collected up in it.
Okay, the truck is on the record going to the garage. The 5 truck is done for the night.
Right up against the wall, we see these trucks working that dark part of the asphalt.
There's Johnny Sauter in the 13 truck. He's up in the top 5 right now. James Busher. Remember, James was one of the trucks that came in on lap 92. We know he has enough fuel to get to the end. And we really think that all these trucks have enough fuel to get to the end with all the caution laps that we've had.
So they sort of caught an audible there, huh? Decided they were going to wait to pit, and then they waited long enough with the cautions. They're not going to pit at all.
Right now going by David Starr. Starr in the 81. David being put down a lap.
David got a little bit of damage in that last crash. You can see him working on pit road on the right front fender. Part of it was missing, so.
Brian Eichler just behind David Starr. Again, Starr a lap down. And one of the other drivers involved in the incident recently, Ricky Carmichael's with Bray.
And the monster Chevy torn up pretty badly. Is there any chance you're ever going to get any good luck?
I hope so. I know one thing, when I do, it's going to be really fun. There's no doubt, but it's unfortunate. I tell you what, it was finally good to run competitively. I think we got, I don't know, we were 8th, maybe 6th or 8th at one point. So I had a lot of fun tonight. This is a really fun track, and that's typical RC luck right there, dude. Just can't do anything.
All right, we hope it turns around. Ricky Carmichael also out for the evening.
Ron Hornaday passing by David Starr. These trucks are all dealing with David losing their momentum.
It really cost Brian Eichler a spot. He was hung in behind David Starr. David raced him really hard after being put a lap down, and it actually cost him a spot. Timothy Peters was able to take advantage and drive by on the inside.
You know, in David's defense, Phil, you know, at Darlington, there just isn't anywhere to hide. Unless you just basically stop, you can't get out of anybody's way perfectly. And like you said, it cost Eichler the second position, and now it's holding up Austin Dillon as they run down the back straightaway.
Let's take a look back at exactly how Brian Eichler lost that second spot. You see David Starr now move way up the racetrack. Watch now, Brian Eichler is following the 81 of David Starr, and he's followed him for a full lap. He started to pull up on him, then he just had to back off and hold his momentum, and that just allowed Timothy Peters just to drive right by.
Justin Lofton in the 7 coming back out on the racetrack.
Pretty quick work by Mark Rett and his guys to get him back out this quickly. 10 laps down right now for Justin Lofton.
30 laps of racing to go. Todd Bodine still in front. Timothy Peters running second, 1.19 seconds behind.
But he's clipping off the fastest laps on the track right now, Rick. He was a 10th faster than our leader last time by, and a couple tenths a lap before that. Oh! Eichler into the outside wall.
Pretty hard in the outside wall.
What was that flew off the truck?
It looked like coming off of the truck.
NASCAR will have to see if that might have left something on the track to get a caution here late in the going.
See Hornaday to the inside, Brian Eichler on the outside, and Eichler able to stay in front of Hornaday.
You can see some tire smoke on Eichler's truck, so that could obviously cut that right front tire. We've seen that happen a couple of times tonight, guys.
See all the debris back there. You think maybe that's foam from the safer barrier, maybe where he bounced off that wall?
I think he knocked some of the foam out. Certainly is.
That's what it looks like.
Take another look.
He's going to hit it pretty hard here, about right off the corner.
Wow.
See, it's just about 3 truck lengths before the end of the safer barrier.
I've never seen the foam fly out of there like that. I think it just was where he hit it, right at the end of the safer barrier, and that smaller, thinner pieces of foam just jumped out of there.
And just a moment ago, the 33 of Hornaday able to take advantage of the slowing down of Brian Eichler, and he takes that position away.
Yeah, he'll be lucky if he don't blow a tire, because that thing hit hard.
I think he's already got into the outside wall again, Ray.
He needs to pit.
Yeah, and he's starting to smoke now, so I think you'll see that truck come down pit road. You guys remember the race at Dover earlier this year when Kyle Busch just dominated? He led 172 laps, but then right at the end, they had a fuel pickup problem and ended up, I think, finishing 16th or something. Well, this is the same truck that they had that day at Dover, and there's Eichler into the wall hard this time. He will definitely come to the pits now, and that should bring out a yellow.
Yeah, that was inevitable. You knew that was going to happen. I hate the spotter and the team didn't get with him and say get to pit road, because he hit hard enough, and obviously the tire blew out.
So the right front goes away for the 18 of Brian Eichler, and that will end his night early. See the right front locked up now as hard contact made.
You can see he drives down into turn 3. The right front tire goes flat. It puts him into the outside wall. You know, he was second. This 18 truck was second in the owner's points this year. Just a handful of points off Todd Bodine for the lead. This will certainly hurt those chances of winning that owner's championship as a Toyota. Kyle Busch obviously would love to win that in his rookie season.
Listen in.
Again, that was inevitable after that initial contact coming off the corner, bouncing off that wall. You know that it had slowed the truck down. He had made other contact while we were looking at another replay, so you knew it was about to happen. Adam, what is Timothy Peters' guys thinking?
Jeff Hensley is coaching his driver to cut off the engine and let it roll to save fuel. Rick Gay, who oversees the technical operation for Red Horse Racing, just told me they think this caution will be what they needed to get over the hump in regard to fuel mileage. They have elected, as you see, to stay on the racetrack, and Hornaday just behind him also getting the cue to stay on track and not come down pit road. This should help their fuel mileage as well.
So the 2 guys that came onto pit road, the latest, Dillon and Compton, are running 6th and 8th. And so Austin Dillon trying to take advantage of guys staying on the racetrack and thinking that they might come in a little bit later. Well, that strategy might not pay off. Guys are staying on the racetrack. Todd Bodine, does he have enough to go the distance? And welcome back. Still under our 9th caution of the night. This time it was Brian Eichler in the 18 that got into the wall. Let's give you a recap of what took place. Early on, Ken Schrader couldn't get the truck to fire.
This is before they even started the race, starting the engines. His truck wouldn't fire, had to go to the back of the pack. At the very start, the 5 runs in the back of Brian Eichler in a bit of a chain reaction, caused his truck to overheat, the 5 truck.
You can see Mario Goslin got some contact spun around. Dennis Setzer's involved. Like Ryan C got a part of that as well. That all happened before the 10th lap.
Lap 9, it's Jason White and the 3 of Austin Dillon making some contact. Dillon into the wall. White saves it down low.
Ron Hornaday wins the battle off pit road. Timothy Peters was the leader coming in. Ron Hornaday beats him by about a foot to get that lead.
Timothy Peters had his tires smoking, but he just couldn't beat Ron Hornaday back to that line.
Jason White blows it an engine.
On lap 75, TJ Bell in the number 50 comes right front down and into the wall he goes.
Lap number 84, Ricky Carmichael gets into the outside wall for the 2nd time. Spins around.
Keeps it going in the right direction, but there's bad things looming ahead for this truck.
Bad things like on the 90th lap, the 07 of Donnie Leah into the wall. Then lap 97.
Here comes Ricky's problem. Mario Goslin loses the tire monkey truck, comes down the track, clips Carmichael, boom! With a split flat on the floorboard, he hits that outside wall.
Then the problems for Skinner happen. Lofton in the 7 comes down the racetrack, boom.
Yeah, Mike Skinner with nowhere to go. He'd already driven off the main part of the racetrack onto the apron. Most recently, Brian Eichler, after making contact 2 or 3 times with the outside wall, finally cuts that right front tire down.
And that gets us to where we are now. You see, we had just 2 cautions back in 03 and 10 and 04. Tonight, we're challenging that record of 10 cautions.
The guy involved in the most recent one is standing by with Ray.
And guys, it appears that the damage on the right front is enough that Eric Phillips has decided to load this thing up. They won't go back to the track. And Brian, I know you got your first Darlington stripe earlier today, and this one a much more harder hit.
Yeah, I got in the wall there racing with Hornaday, and flat side of the right side of the truck, and it was rubbing. I just blew right front, getting in a 3 after I got on the wall. So it was definitely on my fault. Not how we wanted to run here at Darlington. We had a pretty good night going.
Okay. Obviously disappointed, guys, as we get ready to go back to green.
20 laps of racing remain. Green flag back in the air. Todd Bodine, can he hold on? Does he have enough fuel? That's the big question now. Timothy Peters on the inside, trying to stay in front of Hornaday.
Looked like Hornaday was trying to help him, push him along that front straightaway. It about spun Timothy Peters out. Hornaday grabs the 3rd spot.
James Busher pulled down to the inside to try to make a move on Johnny Sauter. Wasn't able to do it. Slowed his momentum. Now they're 3 wide.
Down to the bottom of the racetrack. Matt Crafton in the 88 way down low. Checks up and allows the 31 of James Busher by. And now Stacy Compton's going to try to make the pass on Matt Crafton.
You know, when we talk about how narrow this racetrack is, where Matt Crafton was, that's not actually racetrack.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. He was aggressively trying to grab a spot, and his aggression cost him a couple of spots because he lost his way as he got down into turn 3. Like you said, Phil, he wasn't even on the darn track.
Bodine, Peters, Hornaday, 1, 2, 3. Then Johnny Sauter running in the 4th position now. A pretty good run for that Chevrolet.
Austin Dillon now in the 5th position. He was able to get by James Busher. Remember, both of these trucks pitted later than the rest of them. James Busher back on lap number 92. Austin Dillon on lap number 100.
Crafton able to stay in front of Compton, 7th and 8th between those 2 drivers.
You know, Phil, we talked earlier in the show that the track had grip and these guys would run lap after lap faster than they ever have here before because of the new surface. Well, the top 2 drivers the last time by were faster than the previous track record qualifying speed. These guys are running the fastest laps of the day. Last time by 29.21 seconds, and we're in a long way into a tire run.
Yeah, this is amazing, the resurfacing job they did on this racetrack.
Adam Alexander, what are you thinking about?
I'm talking about the man that's running second, Rick, and I was going to ask our drivers, Michael and Phil, about how much a driver can help their truck here, because Timothy Peters has not been on pit road since lap 76. Obviously, you can't make a chassis adjustment if you don't make a pit stop, but Timothy continues to radio to Jeff Hensley that he's changing his line, trying to help the handle. So how flexible is it here at Darlington for a driver?
Well, we saw Todd Bodine do just what Timothy Peters says he's doing now, and that was look around for some pavement where your truck will work. The groove is narrow, but the way you enter these turns and how close you're willing to get to that wall lap after lap can change the way your truck gets around the track. And I think that's what these drivers running at the front have been smart enough to figure out during the course of this race.
There's a battle for 6th and 7th right here. James Busher has it. Matt Crafton trying to take it from him. And that's where the experience of Todd Bodine comes in. He was very quick to try to find a different part of the racetrack to make his truck work. Right now, Timothy Peters is going through the exact same thing.
So Crafton takes that spot away from James Busher. That's 1 and 2. Todd Bodine.
Ron Hornaday joined the club of being faster than the track record last time by. He ran a 29.29. He was faster as well. You can see he's closing in on these guys a little bit. Hornaday in the 3rd spot there.
There's your top 3. Bodine, Peters, and Hornaday. Johnny Sauter, Austin Dillon running 4th and 5th.
Look at the difference in speed between Todd Bodine and the lap truck of Norm Benning. Norm just trying to get up and get out of the way, but Todd had to predict where Norm was going to go. I'm glad he figured out where he thought he was going, and it worked out.
And that's a situation where if Todd was to have to catch that truck at the wrong spot, then all that distance he has right now over Timothy Peters would have been gone.
See the separation now between your top 3 trucks. And 4th, Sauter. Sauter 2 seconds back from Bodine.
Well, we've got 2 of the most experienced drivers here at this racetrack running 1st and 3rd, and they're sandwiched around the pole sitter and a cat that's obviously proven this year that he's a real contender in this series, and that's Timothy Peters. Schrader struggled all night long. He's battling here for the 9th and 10th spot with Eric Almirola. Eric's looking like he's a little faster than Kenny.
Yeah, remember, Schrader had to battle adversity early on before the green flag even flew. He couldn't get the truck to start.
Kenny came down pit road one time, and the crew had ratchets in both rears and the right front adjusting on that truck.
Yeah, I think he said, I don't know what's wrong with it. And they said, well, we're going to work on it and find out if we know what's wrong with it.
We'll try to help you figure it out.
You go into all those corners of a race truck, you're just trying to change the way that truck is balanced. Maybe the way it's driving, the way the aero package is even working. You're doing anything you can think of to help Schrader out. Maybe trying to lower the front end a little bit.
Dillon has really made his pit stop work the best. He's already up to the 5th position. Compton came in on the same strategy, but he's stuck in 8th.
The problem is that didn't work because now these guys aren't going to stop. If we hadn't gotten all the the caution laps that we got, and all these guys would have had to stop, then that strategy may have won Austin Dillon the race. But the problem is with all the caution laps, not nobody's going to pit.
And the top crew chiefs in this race, the guys that are leading the race, they said, we reserve our right to change our mind. We decided we didn't want to pit now, and that's what we're going to stick with. But remember, Phil, we're inside 10 to go. Having enough gas to get all the way to the checker isn't a given. We could see some of these guys in the front run out of gas.
I was going to say, at the beginning of our show, we talked with Todd Bodine about, do you go for the win or do you protect your point lead? Would you come in here with a big point lead? Well, right now, they're gambling for the win because the question mark still is for fuel mileage. Can they make it all the way to the end of this race?
Well, I think Mike Hellman Jr. has to be reasonably confident that they can get to the end of this race, or else he would have come in the last time they would have pitted.
Looks like they're ready with a little fuel to shoot in that carburetor in case it does stumble here late in the going.
So I've got it. Don't worry, I got it. If we need it.
I'm the fuel guy. I will fix this problem if it develops.
I will squirt that in the carburetor if we need it.
8 laps of racing to go for Todd Bodine.
And Timothy Peters is heating up Todd Bodine's tailgate, so he can't be saving any gas. These guys have caught Norm Benning again, if that tells you how fast these guys are going.
They didn't that last lap, but as you mentioned, several laps they've run under the old track record, so they're not holding it much back right now.
And there's the biggest distance we've seen between Todd Bodine and Timothy Peters tonight.
I think Timothy got tied up with Norm Benning there off turn 2 a little bit, maybe, because he lost a lot of ground on that lap.
Look, almost 4 miles an hour slower than Todd Bodine on that very lap.
And the lap before that, he was 2 or 3 tenths of a second faster than Todd. And that's exactly what happens when you catch that traffic in the wrong place.
How about Almirola and Timothy Peters trying to reel in Todd Bodine for a championship, and it's really hard to gain any ground on somebody when he wins the race.
It's extremely difficult to gain anything when somebody wins the race.
That statement Todd Bodine made at Nashville looks to be something that is consistent at this point. I wanted to make Ron Hornaday down in the 6th spot still a contender for this championship, but Todd's making it really hard for me to be able to say that anymore.
Almirola all over the back bumper of the 2 of Kenny Schrader.
Looks like he's going to finally get to the inside of Schrader. Schrader lets him go. These guys are just on the back end of the top 10. You can see just ahead of him, that's Stacy Compton. So move Almirola up to the 9th spot, and he'll start to try to track down Stacy Compton for that 8th position.
That's 4 more points for Eric Almirola. Remember, came into this race running second. He's running second right now in points as they run on the racetrack. If the race were to end right now, and we're not far from the end.
No, there's only 5 laps to go, and I can't tell you how nervous I am for that team. They didn't think they had enough gas to get to the finish from lap 90, Bill, and now they've decided.
From lap 92.
Yeah, now they think they can get there from lap 76.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's that work?
Timothy Peters currently running second.
You don't think they were whooping us and they just were never going to pit at all, do you?
I don't know. I like that if they were.
Hornaday running in the 3rd spot.
I don't like to get woofed. But these guys have certainly changed their mind on their strategy and the story that they were telling.
Bodine, Peters, Hornaday, Sauter, and Dillon are your top 5. We return to Darlington after the 6-year hiatus.
Remember, at the beginning of the show, we showed about all the historical finishes we had here. We showed people running out of gas. We showed Bill Elliott running out of gas coming off the last corner. Dale Earnhardt getting by him. All it would take now is a little bit of a caution flag and set up a green-white checker, and the whole shebang should change.
Then can they make it? That's the question. Well, can Todd Bodine and Timothy Peters make it? They have 2 laps to go at Darlington.
Got a little lap traffic laying up ahead there.
If they can get to the white flag, that means the next flag will end this race. Todd right now would love to get to that white flag before he sees a yellow.
It was a good break for Todd right there. You could see he didn't lose his momentum while he was lapping by Stout there in that lap truck. He was able to keep it hammered down and even open up his gap over Timothy Peters somewhat.
Timothy Peters going around the slower lap traffic as well. White flag in the air. Todd Bodine gets it. Timothy Peters trying to reel him in 1 more lap.
David Starr lays up ahead of Todd Bodine. Looks like Todd's going to have to deal with him, which will allow Timothy Peters to gain on Todd.
Slows his momentum just a bit. We'll see if Timothy Peters can capitalize on it.
Look at that, how much he's moving in.
Todd did a nice job of getting by David Starr. If he would have had to follow him till he got off for 2, it would have been trouble.
The final turn. Todd Bodine comes out of turn number 4. He'll go back-to-back in the Camping World Truck Series. Back to victory lane.
Experience pays off tonight at Darlington. Imagine that.
I just had a feeling it might. But
Here,
Timothy,
boys, I'm proud of you. Way to work your butts off. No burnout, dude. Chicago motor.
There you go.
No burnout, dude.
How impressive was Timothy Peters, though? Came here, did the tire test, never had raced here before, sat on the pole and finished second.
Well, let's give a tip of the cap, too, to Austin Dillon. Got knocked into the wall before lap 10, had to pit early, lost all his track position, gained it back through some great calls on pit road by that team, and was able to lead this race and finishes in the top 5 for his first trip to Darlington, South Carolina. Great job by Austin.
They didn't need any more fuel. There was no problem with that 32.
Was that guy raising the roof?
He was. Ray Dunlap.
Let's hear from the winning crew chief, Mike Jr. I want to tell you, whenever I looked at the championship chase to November, I thought about Darlington and Bristol as being 2 big challenges. I think I was wrong.
Yeah, we love this place. We've been here and tested a ton. Came here with our nationwide car and finished 4th. Todd gets around this place, and you can't ask anybody to work any harder than the guys on this 30 truck. This Germain Tundra's pretty sporty every week. And we just keep digging and keep doing this deal right here, and we'll get to Homestead. Hopefully everything will work out.
The 17 was the best in practice last week. You beat him. He was the best in practice this week. You guys seem like you don't panic at all, even if you're not at the top of the chart.
You know, we worry more about making our truck drive good for Todd and about being good on a long run later in a race. And I'm just really proud of all these guys. And one of my boys is at a stand-up funeral tonight. Congratulations, Toe and Lindsay.
Hey, one thing more. I saw a set of stickers sitting here. Were you going to pit, or were you just teasing me?
Just teasing you. That's how it worked out in the nationwide race. Since they've repaved this racetrack, track position's a lot more important. So clean air is what we needed, and it all worked out tonight.
Okay, congratulations. Go celebrate. Mike Jr. in victory lane again with Todd Bodine.
I can't believe he was whooping us.
It's the 20th win for Todd Bodine, and guess what? They've all been over a mile. This guy knows how to win on super speedways. It's the 3rd win for Todd Bodine in 2010, tacking on to the Texas and most recently our Nashville win. Get up on that truck, Todd. Welcome back to the track Too Tough to Tame for the Too Tough to Tame 200 in the Camping World Truck Series. Now in victory lane, Todd Bodine will celebrate. He's there with Ray Dunlap.
And here comes the onion out of the number 30 Germain.com Toyota Tundra. He won here in the Nationwide Series back in 2003. Back to victory lane. Got an eye full. Congratulations. I asked Mike Jr. how big of a challenge he thought Darlington would be on the way to a championship, and he said he wasn't worried about it. You're the man here. Congratulations on another win.
Thanks. Yeah, it's nice when your crew has that kind of confidence in you, and I got the same confidence in them. You know, every time off pit road, I know we're not going to lose spots, and if we do, it's because something happened. I mean, they're just awesome. JD and the boys, another great motor. I don't know, man. We got it going on. You know, like I said last week, we struggled at the beginning of the year. Junior changed it around, and here we are, fast every week. You know, it's nice to be able to get in something and drive this way. You know, I wasn't on no Sunday drive, but you know, I knew I had to go with Timmy behind me. I tell you, I love Timmy. He's a great friend. He's a hell of a racer, and I knew he was going to be tough, but we had enough for him.
You got some money tonight. Maybe you can buy some beach chairs.
Yeah, me and Janet were going to the beach, and I forgot the beach chairs and the umbrella. I can't go out without an umbrella, I can tell you that. Yeah, we have a lot of fun at Darlington. I always have. You know, like you were saying earlier, I got a lot of laps around here, and it pays off. Experience pays off, and you know, it was a great win. I got to say hi to Toe and Lindsay. It's happy marriage. Congratulations. This one's for you guys.
All right, congratulations, Todd Bodine and victory lane. Let's go to Adam.
And let's hear from the man who finished right behind him, Timothy Peters. First ever start at Darlington, a pole, a runner-up. I know you're happy with that, but what was the difference there at the end trying to run down Bodine?
With that last set of stickers that we took, great call, Jeff Hensley, all night in the pits. Pit crew did a great job. We took the stickers and we were just mired back in traffic a little bit, so I had to use up my stuff early just to get the clean air and get back to the front. I found a little bit of grip in 3 and 4. We were just tight just a little bit in the center, but you know, all in all, with our Apex Tools family of brands Toyota Tundra, it was a great evening. You know, to set on the pole, finished second, my first second. I'm glad it didn't a fourth, and we gained on some points with that daggone 30. You know, congratulations to Todd. You know, he's a great racer. I learned a lot from him, and you know, I'm loving life right now.
Was fuel ever a concern there in the latter stages?
Well, when they had the wreck with the 12 and the 4, you know, I was conserving all I could, shutting it off, and once we got past the mark, Hensley said, well, we committed. So we did everything we could. Great night, thanks to everybody back at the shop, Fab Shop, Suspension Room, guys that work on these things, Arrington Engines, just a great night.
Great run, congratulations.
Thank you.
Take a look at our point standings after tonight's race. 226 points separate Todd Bodine and Eric Almirola. Do you think that is unattainable for Almirola?
Yes.
What about history? Back in 2005, Ted Musgrave trailed Dennis Setzer by 227 points.
And what happened?
And Ted Musgrave ended up winning by 55.
We'll talk about this next week when we get to Bristol, but this team right now is on fire. You're not going to beat them. You're not going to catch them.
Pretty impressive performance for Todd Bodine. He leads 47 laps here at Darlington and collects his 20th win in the Camping World Truck Series. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on speed by Toyota, brought to you in part by Camping World. The Camping World Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. And by Toyota. Now let's head trackside to Adam Alexander.
And a solid effort for Johnny Sauter. You and I talked after qualifying today. You weren't happy then, but to go from 13th to 4th at Darlington is pretty solid.
No, it's good. I mean, it's a good night for In Country, Curb Records, Chevrolet. We just,
Had a solid night. I just knew coming in here that if I raced the racetrack all night that I was going to come away with a pretty solid finish, and fourth is good for us. We had a really good truck in practice, and tonight we chased the truck a little bit. So I'm super proud of all the guys at ThorSport, everybody back at the shop doing a great job, and thank Duke and Rhonda Thorson for giving me this opportunity. And I don't know how the heck we're going to beat that 30 truck for the points, but nonetheless we got some good racetracks coming up for us and feel like we can do it.
Fifth top 5 finish in the last 6 races for driver 13.
Pretty good run for Johnny Sauter. Let's take a look at our Dodge save of the race.
Watch how close this is, guys. That was early in the race. Timothy Peters was out front, lapping by the lap truck of Brett Raymer, and close call there. That's what happens at Darlington. You get a lot of close calls like that, but that could have ruined Timothy's night, and he finished second.
Oh, yeah. That was our Dodge save of the race.
Here's Bob Germain, one of the truck owners, celebrating in Victor Lane with Todd and the crew.
Well, he adds that trophy to his trophy case for 2010. The win at Texas, the guitar at Nashville, and now this. Welcome back to Darlington. Let's take a look at our Edge Products unofficial results. Bodine getting his 3rd win of the 2010 season and padding his points lead.
A couple of Toyotas over a bunch of Chevys tonight.
Kenny Schrader rounds up the top 10. Best career finish for J.C. Stout and Mike Harmon, both in the top 15. And Jennifer Jo Cobb tied her best career finish.
And Jeremy Petty, a solid 17th place finish in one of his few runs in the Truck Series.
Bad luck continuing for quite a few drivers here in the Camping World Truck Series. Guy who finished 3rd, standing by with Adam.
And it's nice to see Ron Hornaday have some luck. Your first ever Truck Series start here at Darlington. It wasn't easy, but you did come home with a top 5.
No, my hat's off to all these guys. We came and changed the whole truck around, and I definitely got better. Schrader helped me a lot down in 3 and 4, and just that one set of tires got really loose on the start, and I just couldn't get it going. And I played with my blowers, and I got the thing a little snug, and I got it way too snug when I caught them guys. I just tied off of 4 here. But I got to thank Kevin and all the guys. They worked their guts out today, and truck didn't have a scratch until Todd slowed up or missed a shift, and we got accordioned in the front and rear bumper. But an awesome job. I got to think Easy Go. It's 2.5, you know, street legal. So go get one of those golf carts. They're pretty awesome. But a lot of fun this weekend.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Not a long break between this win and the next. Normally a driver will be able to savor his win for about a week, but it's only 4 days until Bristol.
Well, he savored that last one for a week because he won last week, remember?
Don't you love, though, leaving Darlington and heading to Bristol?
Another pretty tough racetrack, too.
The O'Reilly 200 Wednesday night, 7:30 Eastern. Tough night for a few drivers. The track Too Tough To Tame, well, it claimed quite a few trucks tonight. The one, though, that was able to stay out front, conserve fuel, and get to victory lane was Todd Bodine. He goes back-to-back in the Camping World Truck Series.
Next week, the Camping World Truck Series travels to Bristol Motor Speedway for the world's fastest half-mile. Sauter, Peters, and Almirola will be looking to gain some ground on the points and take a slice out of the onion. Krista Voda hosts the setup starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage. Only on Speed.